Hello, and welcome back to Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play through the long-running Trails series, game by game, chapter by chapter, sometimes half chapter by half chapter, whatever really floats our boat. I'm Lex, and I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Matt, and I use he, him.
And today we're playing through the second half of Chapter 6 of Trails in the Sky the Third.
Woo! Woo! And more Star Doors, because there's so many left.
We're also doing, Star Doors 10, 11, 12. There's not that many left now. After this chapter, there's only 3 left.
That's true, and I'm sure they're all going to be fun.
Yeah, one is really exciting. One is intense, well written, but very intense. One is good, but not what I remember as clearly, and one is just really fun and exciting. So we've got some spice and variety.
We love to see it.
But before we get into the trails, what else have you been up to on your trail? God, that was a bad pun. Whatever.
Nice. What have I been up to? Not too much in the past little while since we recorded. The 2 main things I've been doing is I played through the whole storyline of 007 First Light.
Ooh, how was that?
A game I wasn't entirely sure that I was even going to play, but I ended up getting code for it, which really sealed the deal when you don't have to shell out $110 Australian for a maybe.
Oh my god.
No, it was really good. Like, I've played a bit of the Hitman games, so I sort of recognized a little bit of how it plays in terms of, like, you're exploring a little area, figuring out different ways you can solve the problem, things like that. Their Bond is extremely charming. The whole cast is really great. There's some weird cameos in there just for fun. I saw Jacksepticeye as a cloakroom attendant, and the Carby Lame, the, like, pointing guy, he's in it as well.
Wow.
Oh, and Lenny Kravitz is a main character.
Oh, I have not heard about that at all.
Yeah, I think I'd seen something about it a long time ago, but then it just sort of happened, and I was like, oh, there he is. Yeah, it's great. The story's really engaging. It has all the, like, big bombastic action pieces like you'd expect from a Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
They have heaps of references to the series that I just didn't get.
Yeah, fair.
Because I've only seen, like, 3 Bond movies in my life.
I'm like, I've seen some, and I know the most famous theme songs, but I'm not going to get more than the really surface level references.
The theme song is really good as well. It's by Lana Del Rey.
Right, yeah. I heard it. I have mixed opinions on it, because part of me feels like, I'm like, I can't tell if it sounds like a Bond song, or it sounds like
just a Lana song?
Like, it sounds more like a Bond song than a Lana song, and, like, part of me is like, I like it when, like, the Bond song sounds like a perfect meld of, like, the artist sound on their own and the Bond sound. So it's not that I don't think it, like, works to the song, they're just, like, it's not quite what I was expecting, which was wild to just walk up one day and be like, Lana Del Rey, James Bond? What?
It's a good song. It's nice and sultry, which you'd expect from a Bond theme.
Of course.
I feel like, in my head at least, a Bond theme song needs to have, like, big, like, explosive moments in it as well.
Yes.
Like, the kind of thing where you get, like, you know, trumpets and stuff kind of really going crazy.
And I think the instrumentation builds, but her voice doesn't quite build to the, like, high drama, you know?
Which is her voice, as I understand it. But I had a great time. I actually just saw this morning coming out of Summer Game Fest. That's right, Game Singular. I got it right this one time.
Yeah.
They announced, like, the roadmap for the first year.
Right, I saw that.
The way the game's laid out, so that they can have that kind of replayability that the Hitman games have, is you have the main storyline, and then hanging out in, like, Q's lab at headquarters is Gemma Chan from the Eternals.
Oh, wow.
Who is this scientist who runs TACSIM, the tactical simulator. So basically, like, oh, the whole time you're on a mission, like, your Bond watch is, like, recording everything so we can create a simulation of the place afterwards and then use it for training drills, which is a clever way of, like, folding it in.
Yeah.
They're going to be rolling more stuff out to that, like, extra gadgets.
Okay, that simulation thing is just making me think of Chadley in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Same vibe, yeah. She's just sitting there, it's like, do you want to do some tactical missions while you're here briefly to pick up your gadgets for your next mission? And yeah, they're going to roll out stuff like more missions with the Aston Martin where you can sort of use it to a greater extent than you get to in the story of the game. Because it's him becoming 007, so it's a lot of, like, building up. Oh, completely glossed over, the single best sequence in this game is the training montage when you're going through, like, advanced training to become, like, 00 recruit.
Oh, that's cool. I rarely hear that about any game, that the training montage is the highlight.
It's so well done because, like, you're getting taught all the normal stuff, like how to shoot, how to use your, like, Bond slow time, shoot really quickly thing, like traversal and all this stuff, like how to take out guards. But they do it as all these smash cuts in between the different ones. So you'll be, like, okay, take on this like running course, and you'll get halfway down it, and then it'll just smash cut to a completely different scene where he's doing target practice, and then you'll hit 3 targets, and it'll smash cut to halfway through like a combat hand-to-hand fighting drill.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
You know, you get the flag at the end of the course, and then it like cuts to you getting it 6 more times. All this great stuff.
Nice.
And my favorite part of that sequence, which I didn't even think to take advantage of, is the whole time through your training, you're getting these reminders like rule 1 of spycraft, always do the unexpected. So it turns out at the end of the big final, like, this is your traversal course. You've got to get through, take down all the guards, get to the flag without being spotted or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can go down and go into the course as they tell you to, or you can turn around, go up onto the ramparts where everyone would be watching you do the course, and just hop over to where the flag is and grab it. And the game says, well done.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just like, yep, you did the unexpected. I'm like, that's sick.
That's
so
sick.
Having that kind of like logic in there, a great time. I'm taking a break now that I finished the story before I circle back to all the like tax sim stuff. So I might wait to that new load of things to start coming out in the roadmap. But yeah. The other thing I've done is I've watched 3 seasons of Hacks in the past 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot. And how long is a season?
Their episodes, it's like 8 to 12 episodes a season, I think. It's also a half-hour show, which I didn't realize.
Okay, that's doable then. I was thinking like, are we doing like, 10 episodes, 20 episodes? Are they hour long? Like, how much television is this?
Yeah, thankfully not that bad. I'm extremely late to the bandwagon because season 5, the final season, just finished or is about to finish. And it's a great show. If you like comedy, if you like the writing process, I recommend it if you haven't checked it out already.
Awesome.
It's very funny. Everyone in it is amazing.
That's awesome.
I have a constantly building respect and admiration for Hannah Einbinder the more of this show I watch because she's brilliant. Can't believe this was her first acting gig. Amazing.
Wow.
And now she's in like a horror thriller with like a queer-coded horror thriller with Gillian Anderson. I mean, the dream.
Yes, that's right. The dream.
But how about you? What have you been up to since our last episode?
Mostly I've been just getting adjusted to a new job. It's really funny that like every season of the show I have at some point started a new job. Like knock on wood, hope this is just a Sky Trilogy thing. But that seems to be like every season of the show. At some point I've been like, yeah, I'm getting used to a new job. What else? I forgot to bring this up on last episode, and I said I haven't played any games last week. That wasn't true. I had played Heaven's Vault. I played it twice because the New Game Plus is really interesting. So Heaven's Vault is by Inkle's Game. It's an indie. It's an archaeology game where you're actually doing archaeology as opposed to doing like platforming and killing things and grave robbing. It's like a science fiction world, like a nebula, right? Like you go between different planets. But the main mechanic is translation. You're finding relics and artifacts from ancient cultures, and sometimes you just find them and are like kind of figuring out things based on them, like this must come from a planet that has a lot of this material, or you know, if this flag or this emblem of this one country is here, that must mean they were doing trade.
Yeah.
But oftentimes they have like an inscription on them and you're trying to translate them. Basically, the first step is figuring out like which symbols are actually words and which are just kind of connected because they're all kind of just flow into each other. You don't know what an apostrophe is or what a comma is or what anything is, and they all kind of flow into each other.
Right, okay.
So you choose, okay, I think this is a word. I've seen the same sequence together a lot of times. You pick like one of 4 words that like translate it, and then once you use it often enough, your character will either say, yes, I'm confident that my translation is right, or no, that can't be right. I'm going to have to figure out a different one.
Okay.
But you can continuously go back and like try to translate these things that you haven't quite figured out over and over again. And you're kind of piecing together the history of this nebula, this weird stuff going on. There's this weird kind of religion that they follow that everything that's ever happened will repeat again. It's all one great loop.
Right.
And there's evidence that both confirms and denies that, like that you find as figuring it out. It's a slow build, but you get really into the world of it, and the translation stuff gets really addictive. You feel like a genius sometimes when you figure it out. And it's also just kind of cool that, like, there's no combat, there's no high-stakes stuff, but it's just about the archaeology. And that is kind of cool because there's so much archaeology in video games, and yet there's so little archaeology in video games. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out. When I picked it up, it was on sale for like $6 Canadian, which is less than $5 American. If you wishlisted, it might show up at that price again. I watched SGF, Summer Game Fest.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Which I think the only things that I was really interested in were Final Fantasy VII Revelation does look sick.
Yep.
And then the new Ueda game. I'll be interested to see that when it comes out. The Jet Atlas, I think it's called. The new Team Eco game.
Yeah, the thing where you're flying around a big robot head and putting it on different robot bodies or something.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell it's gonna be, but like that's enough of a proven creative that I'm interested to at least see more about whatever this is, because, you know, the team that made Eco and Shadow of the Colossus and
There was like one other game that really stood out for me as well.
Resident Evil something. I don't know if that, but
Oh, yes.
I'm not a Resident Evil person, but I hear that's exciting for you RE heads.
Yes, I am a burgeoning RE head. I've pretty much only played the remakes and the new stuff as it's coming out. But yeah, Resident Evil Veronica instead of Code Veronica is coming.
I didn't even know they changed the name because everyone in the chat I was in just went, Code Veronica!
Yeah, I truly don't know much about Code Veronica. I kind of have a blind spot for this game, which is great because Claire is one of the best protagonists and she's quite underused.
I do recognize her name.
I know part of it takes place in France because the trailer was in France.
I have to say about this, that old lady that's at the beginning of that trailer has to be some sort of imposter alien. No old French landlady is going to be that nice to someone she has to speak English to. That's just not how it works. Some old elderly landlady in Paris forced to speak English and being friendly. I've spent too much time in Paris. I know French ladies. That's not how it works.
Yeah, inaccurate representation.
There's going to be a twist.
She did have quite a young sounding voice for such an old lady, so
She did.
Who knows? Yeah, so that was kind of the other big game for me. Stuff is still happening. We're only midway through as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Theoretically, when the Xbox presentation happens, for me at 3 a.m. on Monday morning,
More for me.
that might be the reveal of more info on Persona 4 Revival or Persona 6.
Persona 6 isn't real and can't hurt you. This is my mantra. Every time a person says Persona 6 is going to show up in some capacity, another year gets added. So I'm just like, I'm just keep repeating it's not real. There's a part of me that's like, I can't believe I'm going to have to watch the fucking Xbox showcase. Because, like, I'm supporting the BDS boycott. I don't even own an Xbox anyway.
Yeah.
But it is, like, why Atlas has decided to do all these showcases, reveal so many games with Xbox. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, P4R. Wouldn't it be really funny if they reveal SMT6 before Persona 6? Just to, like, fuck with everyone?
That would be great. I know Matt Horton of In Sequence and Flow State,
Yes.
for one, has Mary in that Stardoor style fully convinced himself that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I hope it does come true because I want to hear more about this. There's been the same, like, 3 leaked images from Persona 6 development, theoretically, and then dozens and dozens of AI-generated slop trying to pretend they are P6 leaks.
Yeah.
Don't need it. Let's just show it already so we don't have to do this anymore, please.
I'll actually be surprised if there's nothing from the Persona 4 Revival Tour. Like, if there's nothing about that, it was a year ago that they first announced it. I expect some sort of proof of life.
There's got to be something, yeah.
I mean, it did get rated on a bunch of jurisdictions recently, so it might actually be coming out with a date, but even if not a date, like, something, because it was just like, look, Inaba.
At least, like, footage of this town in fog this time would be nice.
In fog, possibly with a human other than the protagonist running through it.
Possibly. We will wait and see. We will know in 24 hours. You guys will know sooner.
We'll see. There may be a Nintendo Direct coming up. We might get some Fire Emblem news, which I would be very excited about.
I would be very happy to get more on that as well.
And I highly doubt Falcom's going to be an NESGF thing, but if we could ever hear that Kyoto Xanadu is actually coming out in English, that would be great. I mean, they announced it in English Direct, but we've heard nothing about who's the publisher or who's distributing it in English, let alone a date. And it's supposed to be this summer.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Tell us.
Oh, and the only other announcement from SGF so far that I wanted to just highlight, not because I'm a fan of it, just because I was like, what the fuck, is Stranger Than Heaven, the pseudo Yakuza Like a Dragon game.
Oh my god,
which is about, I believe, the establishing of the Tojo clan is what they've sort of hinted at in previous trailers. Going through like 5 different time periods in Japan. On top of bizarre guest stars like Snoop Dogg,
yeah,
we now also have a cameo of Tupac Shakur, a dead man, a man who has been dead for 30 years.
A man who was assassinated 30 years ago. And a man who, because a lot of people keep saying like, oh, well, his family signed off on it. His estate is not run by his family. His sister is currently suing his estate for embezzlement and for taking over again. And obviously it's all allegedly. Like, we don't know what's happened. It's an ongoing lawsuit. I'm not saying anything definitively. But, like, this is not a clear cut, like, well, the family agreed to it. You know, it's one thing if, like, you'll hear sometimes that they use the likeness of someone, but, like, their widow agreed to it. This is not that.
No. Tupac specifically, like, he's been hologrammed before.
Oh, yeah.
And now this. Look, I don't know exactly how I feel about it other than icky. It feels icky. On a weird level.
And they clearly thought this was gonna, like, blow the roof off, and the response was not.
Everyone's just kind of like,
Really?
Which is not probably the overall sound that they were going for. Let's see what happens next.
God, what a choice.
Yeah.
RGG's been burning through a lot of goodwill lately, unfortunately, between having an admitted
The Kiwami 3 thing.
assaulter, yeah. Really hope they can course correct soon, because it seems like they've made a lot of big missteps at best.
Yeah. A lot of oopsies.
Yeah. But that's what I know. I think that's all I know in all of life.
Why don't we talk about a video game that we're here to talk about?
Yes, let's do that. Let's dive back into chapter 6.
I am ready.
So, with the structure of this chapter and knowing that we can't circle back to things at the end, what we're going to do this week is front load a couple of star doors because they're nice short ones, like the little the salt pail report that we had previously, more sort of info dumpy ones.
Yep, they're the same format.
So we're going to open up with the star doors 10 and 11 before we dive back into the color-coded dungeon jamboree.
Yeah. But first, I think we'll do a little tour around the Hermit's Garden. Did you do a circle?
I did the star doors, then I did a circle, but I can just read in a different order, so let's do that. That's right. It's because I followed on from Star Door 10 because there was some new dialogue that happened after I did that door.
I can go forward to Star Door 10 and then go back if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
So, Star Door 10 was back in the secret Lakeside Laboratory mirror image edition next to the big robot telling us that we needed to bring the girl who has a big robot.
Very on the nose there.
Hmm.
And so I brought a girl who has a big robot.
Nice.
And apparently it was the right girl with a big robot. You know, technically Tita has a big robot now too, so they really could have been a little more specific.
She's still the front runner, yeah.
And we go in and we get the whole like UI of this door is quite fun because it's clearly meant to be like a digital report. Well, I guess if you're playing with a mouse, you would be able to. It would be a little more like actually clicking through something on a computer. But it just kind of reminded me a bit of the modules I had to do onboarding for my new job, where they try to make it the UI more exciting so that it's not as boring to be like, here are your HR obligations.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Because it's like, it's set up as though it's a computer interface. You're actually like clicking on headers and stuff, but really you only get the option of one at any given time.
Yeah, and it starts with like loading and then like a text box just pretends to be loading before you can proceed. Like it really is playing into that.
Yeah, it's all very linear, but you have to click on it a bunch of times. So it absolutely feels like a workplace training module. You are so right.
Yep.
This one at least is more interesting than the ones I usually have to do at my day job.
Oh, for sure. I'll take 10 of these over another one of the whatever I have to do the next in a year from now. Have to re-up on them.
Yeah, but I work adjacent to logistics, so every year I have to do one that teaches me how to not take bribes at the port, a place I have never been. So if instead I got one that said Gordius Class Tactical Archaism Development Plan, I'd be a lot more excited.
Same here. The title screen has the number N810010-66. I don't know if anything that number means, but if you in the audience knows if there's a connection with that, please tell me.
I know this much, it doesn't say boobies upside down, and beyond that I really can't help.
Well, who cares if it doesn't say boobies upside down?
Mm-hmm.
Potter Mater, 13 factories.
We get a bit of information about Pater Mater. The idea was that they wanted a next-generation archaism with full continental coverage, so they wanted to be able to deploy it anywhere on the Zemurian continent at any time.
I guess that's why Ren flies around so fast with it, because it can go all over the place.
And also that it doesn't need to be refueled or resupplied, except for every couple of years, which is insane.
Yeah. We have there's a lot of like terms that they use that don't mean anything to us, like the Mars logical system or whatever. But they talk a lot about is that it's what gives it this extra level of control is the fact that it has an operator, right? Like there's someone piloting it, like it's a mech.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause some issues that they need a pilot. One thing I noticed, because I'm looking through it, and as you go through it, the background image switches to like, you know, blueprints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we do get some height and weight statistics, actually. 15.5 arg, so 15.5 meters. 55 torum.
Which is tons.
Tons, yeah. 68 when fully armed, so if it's not always fully armed, but if it is. So this is a heavy big boy.
Well, if you've just done your 3 yearly supply, then you have 68.
Yeah. And a ton for the rest of you is like 2,000 pounds, I think, so.
Yeah.
It's built out of something called Kurtalegan, which I actually Googled. And apparently, this is a thing from a mythology. That's the deity of
okay.
blacksmiths in Ossetian mythology. Ossetia it's like in modern day Georgia, but part of it is occupied by Russia.
Oh.
In like the Caucasus Mountains.
Okay.
But they're originally descended from like a nomadic people from what is now Iran. It's their deity of blacksmith.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. I'm glad because I had a suspicion it might be something, if not based in reality, at least conceptually related to like an orichalcum or mithril or something. A mystical metal.
Yeah.
That is like more powerful.
If anyone listening happens to be from Georgia or something and actually knows how Kerdalagon or whatever it's pronounced, please correct me because I'm sure that's not it.
Yeah, I was saying Kerdalagon, but truly no idea. It could be more pitbull coding being Kerdalegon, but we will have to find out from our Georgian listeners. Please reach out.
If you know, or from anywhere else where you might know the name.
I'm pretty sure I did see in our analytics that at least one person in the greater sort of Russian zone does download the podcast, so let us know.
Please let us know if you know. I'm curious now.
They also mentioned that the way that this is going to be next generation is that it's going to have like a direct nervous system interaction with the operator or pilot, and that is how it'll be able to like have lightning quick reflexes despite being this giant behemoth of a thing.
Oh, and we get a name that I'm not sure if we've heard it before. Have we heard the name Professor Novartis before this? We heard about the 13 factories before. When we heard about the 13 factories in SC, we might have heard the name, but I'm not sure. So we now know that's a second professor associated with the society.
Yes. We also get, in the mention of Novartis, they have a shot of some scientists working on Patamata. All looks very impressive. It's like huge and suspended from these giant like chains and stuff.
Yes.
There is one guy in the back who has a more distinct haircut, because they're all sort of shot from behind and in shadow. Does that look familiar to anyone? It looks like a guy with like a ratty ponytail. I couldn't place if that was someone we know.
I'm not sure who that...
Because I know that's not Novartis's haircut from future appearances of him in this greater series. Like, we've seen what he physically looks like, but I was trying to place if it was, who's that? He's in Daybreak, he works in Katra's home city, he's kind of the dickhead professor.
There's the dickhead professor and then there's the old mechanic guy. No, starts with like a K or a C or something like that, the one you're thinking of. I don't know if it's him. Professor Yang or something, maybe.
Cronkite.
Yang Cronkite.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's not clear enough to say for sure.
He looked a little bit Hojo-esque from Final Fantasy VII. I just thought maybe he was meant to be like an Easter egg because he was a bit more distinctly designed. And we're definitely, as we get towards the latter end of these doors, starting to get hints of things that are going to happen in the series. They're sort of laying groundwork for greater story beats in other locations. Uh-huh. But maybe he's just a guy with a shitty ponytail who works on evil robots.
Maybe it is Hojo, Professor Hojo. But another thing happens when we have this background image, which is we learn about all the tests that didn't go well.
Oh, yeah.
So they say specifically, again, that Professor Novartis is the one in charge of these tests.
Yep.
And you don't get a great impression of this man, given the fates that his experimental subjects befell them.
Yeah, we've got a range of different phases that they seem to have failed in between phases 1 and 3. And they either end up comatose, insane, or dead.
Yeah, comatose, cardiac arrest, insanity, comatose, cardiac arrest, comatose, mental breakdown. That's fun.
Yes, one subject makes it to phase 4 and has a mental breakdown, so congratulations to test subject I6.
Which tells you a lot about what kind of person this Novartis must be, and also tells you there's something different about Ren. Because that's a lot of people to not just fail to sync, but like lose either their lives or their ability to function. And not only does she survive the experiments, but she successfully thrived.
Yeah, and it seems that the society knew this because up to this point, Novartis was just selecting and sort of testing on subjects by himself. After that many deaths and insanities and comas, the society took over assigning test subjects
Though they kept supplying test subjects at all, which is like crazy to think that they'd hand anyone over for it.
So that is how we get to eventually subject R3, who we get in a lovely red silhouette. Very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Little gothic Lolita look with a bunny toy. The first to successfully complete all 4 phases of the testing, so that mental breakdown person got the closest.
Mm-hmm.
But she did experience a small degree of flashbacks, which that seems fine.
Well, it's not a shocker given what we know so far that Ren has bad memories to have a flashback too. We know that something's gone on in her life. But also it also hints at like whatever neural connection is happening. Like this is very much like oh my god, what was it called? What was it? The movie Pacific Rim, where it was like
where the 2 pilots have to sync up?
Yeah, but there was a term for it. Drift. In the drift.
Drift compatible, that's right.
Yeah, there's some sort of weird drift compatibility thing going on here with how Ren and Powder Matter are connected. Because if something was able to trigger like PTSD flashbacks, then clearly it's deeply, deeply connected into your psyche.
Yep. Regardless of whatever totally fine flashbacks she's having, she does manage to communicate with Powder Matter and operating him as well, which I guess means making him go. Which is great. That's good news, because now they've got a big continent-spanning robot.
And Ren has a father-mother.
What more could a child need?
Yes.
This one kind of trails off with ascertaining the society's intentions in regards to resuming development, which we don't really get a final answer for before the door ends.
Yeah, I guess the question is, they got one successful, but clearly Ren's an anomaly in at least some way. Are they gonna try and make more?
That brings us to the end of the Gordius class experiment report, Stardor.
Oh, let's rate it, right. What are you thinking?
This one was nice and short. It was both nice and short.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish it had a bit more about Ren in it. I know it's focusing on Powder Matter, and we do learn a little bit about how they're having to, it's just so big that they're having to figure out how to strap bigger engines to it so they can fit more fuel in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so heavy that they have to reinforce the knee joints, otherwise the whole thing will collapse.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to hear that this is not an infallible robot. This is very fallible. And they've just managed to get it to work, basically.
Miraculously.
So I think I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5 stars.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because a lot of it is like technical jargon that doesn't really, I don't really care. I know how big it is compared to my sprites on the screen, so it doesn't matter that much to me, the exact height. I mean, the weight's interesting, but the height, a lot of it.
Yeah, when I saw the weight, I was like, the number of things that Powder Matter has landed on that should have immediately collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah, how strong were those platforms in the Oriole? Because it crashed down on that thing, and it was able to support 68 tons? No.
It's too much. Other than that, it must never land at all. It must just be, still mostly, hovering or something. Man, how do you have a conversation with that around? It must be so loud. Whatever the engine powers that thing.
I know, yeah.
I'll be nice and say 3.5.
Cool, so that is a combined 3.5 out of 5 stars for Stardor 10, Gordius class experiment report. And after I finished doing that door, I did return to home base, to the Hermit's Garden, which triggered a little scene, sort of a tag to this Stardor, which I quite appreciated. Celeste just sort of says, hello, welcome back. How you all doing? Ren sort of sighing quietly.
I love that everyone gets question marks at this. And her sigh is clearly very loud enough that everyone else is like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a performative 12-year-old's sigh.
Exactly.
She just walked into the room going, and everyone said, what's going on? And she's like...
They're like, do you need a rest?
Oh, yeah, they are. Do you want to, rest? Do you want to hang out here for a while? Everyone else will be here, so you won't be alone.
She's like, I'm not tired, because she's a little kid.
Precocious. But then she's like, hang on, let me try something. She waves her hand and says, Powder Matter, to me! Lo and behold, Powder Matter drops into frame.
And it destroys the platform and we all fall into the abyss to our death because this thing is, again, 68 tons.
Yep, end of game. And then she's like, okay, cool, I figured that'd work. Everyone's like, why did you do that? It was like, well, this is a possibility space. Why wouldn't Powder Matter show up if I asked him to? Or them to?
Yeah, and I love that, last week, or last episode, or 2 episodes ago, whatever, we had, Annalise desperately trying to figure out how to imagine herself a teddy bear, and Ren has already figured out how to summon Powder Matter. Her understanding of the manifestation powers of this place is on such a different level than everybody else.
There's also a little note that I got from Celeste afterwards. Firstly, I'm sad that after she summoned in Powder Matter, he doesn't just stay posed next to the central platform. because there's that space for him.
But at least we have the S-Craft.
But yes, we do get the S-Craft Partamata, so you can summon him into battle. Sick S-Craft. It's one of these line attacks, but the line width is basically the size of any combat area.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of like clear cut the entire space. Feels very good.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste says afterwards, I was very impressed that Ren did that. I was surprised by the big robot. I just hope she takes it easy because while it is possible to summon things into existence here, it is very physically and mentally taxing. So I just don't want her to strain herself. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So you can do it, but there is like a side effect. That's kind of a good counterbalance.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, now that we're in the Hermit's Garden, should we do a little lap before we go to our next star door?
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
One of the spots that I caught here was I was talking to Olivia, who's over by the healing waterfall.
Yes.
Who mentions like, everyone's kind of reacting to Ren summoning Partamata. And he's like, that's pretty impressive. It's crazy what summoning can do. Although, if like the reach of this ability extends to Calvard being able to summon people, we might be in real trouble because there's some fearsome options out there.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
Just one of those fun little nods to kind of future characters that we might interact with, like a bigwig in Calvard.
So because I did a lap before we got this door and then after, so I think I have some dialogue that predates, that goes before the Partamata and some after.
Oh, nice.
What I have there before this one is Shara and Olivier are sitting together drinking, and Shara's just kind of lecturing about how there's no point panicking, and Olivier's just like, Shara's totally right. Like, he's just wife-guying for Shara a little bit.
Yeah.
Agate is like, still thinking about Kilika since we just fought her. He's like, if she left Zeiss, they're gonna be, short-handed. I volunteer to do some extra work around Zeiss to help out since she's gone.
Yeah.
And he goes, wait, Erica wrestles in Zeiss, right? Shit.
Yeah. Really puts the edge on to his offer, I guess.
Yeah.
You also get a line from Tita in passing where she's like, oh, I hope Mum's not causing too much trouble for Professor Murdoch.
Oh, yeah.
Or like Dr. Murdoch. Mr. Murdoch? Chief Murdoch?
Chief Murdoch.
Professor Chief Dr. Mr. Murdoch.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing okay. I hope he hasn't had like a mental breakdown because of Mum and she's like being chill. And then immediately after that, I got the line from Agate where he's like, I'm going to help in Zeiss. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Did you see Alan Richard?
No, I think I had him in my party at this point.
Because when I passed by him, the whole thing switched to a cutscene.
Oh, really?
And Alan Richard is he's on that elevated platform that, like, there's almost never anybody on, but it's, like, on the way over to the fountain.
I've never seen anyone there, no.
So there's only twice been ever anybody there for me. But he's just standing there. He's staring off of the edge. He's, like, sheathing and unsheathing his sword, staring off to the edge. And I did this scene twice, actually, because I had Estelle, and she said the line, and then I added Annalise to see if it was different, and it's just Annalise said Estelle's lines. Oh. But basically, they're like, are you training? Are you practicing your, like, sheathing techniques? Because we know that he's all about that sheath.
Yeah.
That's his whole form. And he's like, yeah, I'm being surrounded by, all these sealed warriors. I'm really reflecting on my swordsmanships and, like, the shortcomings of it. I'm at a weird phase where I'm not able to perfect it. Like, I'm never going to become a divine blade, but I also can't turn my back from the way of the sword. Like, I'm on this path and I'm never going to go all the way. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping that being here is going to help me, like, figure out a breakthrough into, like, how I identify with my swordsmanship and my relationship with it. Which is just really interesting given what's going to happen next.
Nice. Well, I actually got a little mini scene on the other end of the Hermit's Garden with Ren and Reese.
Yes.
Where I sort of walked up and Reese is basically just telling Ren off. She's calling her imprudent. And Ren's kind of incredulous, which for any other child would have been, what does imprudent mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, she's objecting to the way Ren is describing all the proceedings going on around them in terms of a game.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fun game to play. She especially doesn't like that Ren has complimented the Lord of Phantasma on, like, good game design. Or like, oh, what a fun romp the Lord has prepared for us.
Imagine if we said that whenever we played a game. Like, oh, thank you, Lord, for preparing this fun romp through an open world.
And Ren kind of calls out, is like, well, I don't know why you're so upset. Maybe it's got to do with the fact that the Lord of Phantasma seems to particularly be targeting you and Kevin to try and sort of get under your skin. Maybe that's why you're really angry. And for me, I had Estelle in the party at this point. So she cuts in and is basically like, okay, you two, break it up. You're both wrong right now.
Yeah.
Ren, stop teasing people and trying to get a rise out of them. It's not kind.
Mm-hmm.
Reese, I know she's a genius, but she's still a 12-year-old girl, and this is pretty standard shitty 12-year-old girl behavior
Yeah.
to just like poke and prod and sort of test limits. So how about you both take a breath and chill?
You can't get mad at a 12-year-old the way you get mad at an adult.
Yeah.
Because 12-year-olds are immature and gonna be assholes sometimes. And it sounds also that you can scold her for being rude or for whatever. Like, you know, you're an adult. Like, telling a kid off when they're out of line is like a part of being an adult.
Yeah, we're all sort of her caretakers right now.
Yeah.
Estelle also mentions, like, Ren, she absolutely can be a bit of a menace, but she's also, like, unfailingly and unpromptedly kind to people when they need it. So how about we just give her some consideration? And Ren is, like, shook by this.
Yeah.
You think I'm kind and generous and good to others? Like, fully breaks through the facade.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, yeah, treat me nicer. I have 3 doctorates.
Yeah, it sounds like she's just like your average 12-year-old. She's smarter and she's stronger, but she's just like any other 12-year-old that you'd find at school. And everyone's like, yeah, but if I was at school, I'd be teaching. I have 3 doctorates. Yeah. I like that this is clearly Ren is thrown off balance by what Estelle said, and so is finding an angle to throw Estelle off balance. Apparently, she regularly publishes papers in, what are they? I think it's...
chemistry, mathematics, and information theory.
She publishes them through somebody else because she doesn't want the hassle of being like a famous child genius.
Yeah.
But I guess she has a lot of spare time on her hands when the society's not on the move.
Wild.
After that, Ren is still in the same place we left her, and she's just being like, don't underestimate me. And don't forget, like, there's no way you're getting out of here without my help. And Estelle's just like, yeah, we're counting on you, Ren. Estelle's not rising to the bait.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we know. We're relying on you because we know you're strong and helpful. Reese, meanwhile, has fucked off all the way over to the pond, the waterfall pond.
Oh.
And Reese just goes, you know something, Estelle? You're too soft for your own good. And then she thinks to herself, if you talk again, why is she so attached to Ren to begin with? Like, she's really puzzling over why Estelle cares so much.
She clearly did not play Trails in the Sky first and second chapters.
I had a couple other things that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Josette is having a really rough time this chapter. Like, every time I talk to her, she's just having, like, a mental breakdown. She's always by herself, staring off into space. She's like, why am I here? Another time she's looking off, she's like, there's so many stars and there's not even a single constellation I recognize. Like, I feel so, like, so isolated looking out at this thing. And she's just, like, really spiraling, poor thing.
Oh.
In the library, Joshua and Chloe are working together, trying to figure out what's going on. And apparently the books we see in the library come from the knowledge accumulated within being drawn out through our thoughts and existence. So apparently this is books that somebody in this world has read, or they're made up books. So maybe Gilbert never actually wrote his Fat to Fit book, and it's just like what he's thinking about.
Yes, just his tainted mindscape entered this dimension and just caused to come into being Fat to Fit. Nasty, nasty. One thing I did notice while I was doing my run around is that Annalise is taking a nap behind the food tree.
Oh my god.
She's just curled up at the back roots.
If you look at the wrong angle, it looks like some sort of weird, like, snail or growth off of the tree. Like,
I could not figure out what it was, yeah.
But then it's like, I guess I can interact with it. Let's see. And then it was an Annalise.
Just vibing. Good on her.
I found out from Jin that Killick is a really bad loser, so she's going to yell at him when they meet each other again, because she really hates losing. More books showed up, this time over on this end.
Oh, yeah. A bunch of complex books like the Ruan Economics series.
Yeah, and the 100 Days War book that Joshua was reading, and Estelle's like, I can try to read a hard book. Nothing new, just stuff that we know. Yeah, I think that's all I have for that Hermit's Garden loop. You want to head off to Star Door 11?
Yes, let's go to Star Door 11, which is just a trial fight for anybody who wants it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a great time because I brought in Alan, Julia, and Mueller. And Julia and Mueller were both quite low level. So after finishing this trial fight, they all got like plus 9999 XP.
Excellent. I did go and take them to grind a little after this. I went and found a Shining Palm.
Nice.
But no, for me, this was my chance to test out Potter Modder.
Oh, yes. It's fun. It's a big blast. Boom, boom, boom.
It's fun. I like that both Tita and Ren, we can summon their mechs in different ways, but I like that they're both there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we beat the thing. And we get a very familiar mask and card as the art for this door. It's a Phantom Thief B door. And thankfully, we don't have to solve a riddle for it. Well, we kind of do, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we get a lot of custom art during this one as well. I love the collection of like newspaper clippings and stuff about Blue Blanc, including right down the back, you can see a badly done illustration that seems to be a postcard or something, and it says "I love you" on it. So this seems to be some sort of like kid's note to Blue Blanc.
Or it's meant to be like a note that maybe he wrote as a kid. But first, before we get there, we get the title of the in-universe title of this, not the starter title. An investigative report on Phantom Thief B, his crimes, his history, and his true identity by the Imperial Chronicle Investigative Team. So Imperial Chronicle sounds like a newspaper in the Empire. Yeah, it is. I'll confirm that. We get the conspiracy board. I also love that the scissors they use kind of look like children's craft scissors.
Yeah. We get sort of a rundown of his past antics. Turns out that he stole everything from art to tanks to wives.
Yes. From what we learned about this wife thing, there's two very different ways that this can be interpreted. One is very sketchy, and one is that she asked him to steal her. So hopefully it's the latter.
Yeah, so they talk about like he's stolen art from the Imperial Art Gallery, pulled stuff out of like warehouses like a cutting edge tank, and then the wife one refers to the wife of a marquis, so an upper echelon lord type.
Yeah.
Was stolen away and still has never been heard from again.
The one thing that all of these have in common, though, is that there's no evidence ever that he's profited from his theft.
Half the time this stuff shows up again somewhere weird.
Yeah, he's not selling it, not for his profit, also not selling it to, like, give money to the poor or anything like that. Like, he's not Robin Hooding.
Yeah.
He's got some sort of ideology behind what he does. What they get together is this theory that what he steals are essentially works of beauty that are being ignored or unappreciated, at least in his mind.
Yeah.
So whether that's paintings that were not really understood by the nobility, so they were just kind of like stored away in the archives instead of being put on display in the museum, or a septium crystal that customs just took and like put in a warehouse and like nobody could ever appreciate it. And the Marquis's wife was, after he married her, he just ignored her and shut her away in the house and hung out with concubines all the time, apparently.
Yeah.
Either he just stole a woman, which was pretty awful, or she was miserable and he offered her and she accepted to like get out and start a new life somewhere else with a new name and is off living a good life. So hopefully it's that.
Eventually, after they discuss sort of his like means and motive, they get to his identity. They're like, no one really knows who this guy is, but here's 3 of the top theories that we've sort of looked into.
I like that there's no names given for these theories. Like, they're also, like, pseudonyms for these 3 real identities. There's no, like, and his real name is, like, John Smith. There's none of that.
His name is John Cena. And because he is Phantom Thief B, instead of being theories A, B, C, these are theories X, Y, Z. So the first theory, amorous con artist X. The gist of it is that he was a con artist. He used to fake his way into like fake IDs to have trysts with women who are out of his league, sort of culturally speaking, because this is all taking place in the Empire where we have a very strong caste system between nobles and commoners.
And he was from a poor family in the South who already had to steal to make ends meet.
He was poor and hot, so he used that to his advantage. And was just kind of dabbling, like having trysts with first this woman he was a little bit in love with, and then just anyone that he wanted, and was arrested 10 years prior on suspicion of identity fraud, but escaped from prison and has remained whereabouts unknown since then.
And their conclusion is that this seems quite plausible.
Yeah.
That it does, the skill sets match up, and in both cases, the con artist never used his fake IDs to like steal money or anything. He wasn't doing it for profit. He was doing it for the love of the game, which matches with the MO of Phantom Thief B. Theory 2 is tragic artist Y, who was an artist with a rather tragic past. He was, like middle class, so not like some poor kid, but not a nobility either, hired by a noble to be their personal artist for their family, and made a bunch of beautiful artworks. But then it was later discovered that he also made a bunch of counterfeit pieces because the person who hired him wanted to make a profit through this, so had him make a bunch of like counterfeit artworks. One day, out of the blue, the tragic artist Y leaves his employment. We don't know why. And as soon as he leaves this noble, his lover was killed in a traffic accident, and it was believed that the noble set it up. So this artist was spotted at his lover's grave one more time before forever vanishing. But then the noble was murdered years later.
Mm-hmm.
There's also this kind of mystique of tragic air around this story.
Yeah.
On this one, they think this is also fairly plausible. Phantom Thief B has been known to steal counterfeits and dispose of them because of they're fake.
False beauty, yeah.
And so there's a theory that if he's this artist, it's the counterfeits that he made that he's now trying to remove from circulation.
Yep. And our final theory is skilled martial artist Z, because we use British English in this house.
Yes, we do.
Not Z, it is Z.
But also not Jin, who is the skilled martial artist Zed that we know in this game, but clearly not him.
Neither Jin nor Zane are involved in this particular story. So this one is kind of like less plausible by their own admission than the others, but Z, damn it, Z.
Damn it, take it again.
Z.
Cut it out, you don't have to comp to that.
I don't have to make any mistakes when I am the editor. Less plausible by their own admission than the others, but Z.
Exactly.
Was born in the Far East and is a well-trained martial artist, son of a famous military family. Attractive but delicate and sort of strong beyond what his appearance would suggest.
Which is how we know it can't be Jin.
Oh yes, he's never had delicate features in his life. This arrogant dude kind of got bored with life because he was like strong and cool and hot and everything everyone wanted to be. And then he just complained about everything until one day he vanished without telling anyone where he was going. And they kind of based this one, I was like, well, Phantom Thief B is eccentric, and this guy was eccentric, and his fighting style kind of looks similar, so I guess it works. And it's more exciting than the other theories, so maybe it's cool if it's true.
But probably not.
They kind of end with, these are our theories, we don't know which one is true.
My thought about the last one was it almost sounds like Walter, like the description of him.
A little bit.
Not exactly, and it's in the Far East as opposed to Calvard. The idea that, like, he's, you know, arrogant, kind of, like, bored with what the path he was on had to offer, and so he just left his martial art and whatever. And then also, I mean, Walter's not delicate looking, but compared to Jin, he definitely does not look like a mountain. But I don't think it's Walter, but I just thought it was an interesting parallel.
And then we get a little postscript where they say that after this article covering all this Phantom Thief B stuff was first published in the Imperial Chronicle, they received a card believed to be from the actual Phantom Thief B, which just said, "The truth of my identity is already within your grasp. My number reveals all." And they would not be able to solve this based on this information, but we can.
We can.
Because he's referring to his enforcer number for the society. He is enforcer number 10. And oh my, what is the Roman numeral for 10 again, Lex?
I think it might be X.
So, yeah, it seems like Blue Blanc is kind of confirming that he was
the con artist.
They just stole a bunch of stuff, including a lady. Which makes me think, if there was a woman that he stole who never turned up again, is it possible that one of the other sort of society members, the female members, were rescued from a dead-end marriage so that they could become a society member, and that's why she's never returned?
That seems very plausible. I don't know if it's the case, but that would be awesome.
I would love if there was a payoff on that.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of our Door Phantom Thief B report. What would you grade this B report?
I'm gonna get maybe a 4. This is fun. Maybe 4.5. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I feel like this had more of the sort of elaboration that I wish that the Partamata one had. It had a bit more sort of information to flesh out, and we got all these alternates. And I do like the idea that maybe like the martial artist Z one was like a misinformation story that he planted based on Walter's life story to kind of mislead people. I love that idea. Which makes me wonder is there anything in the Y option that could be derived from another society member or something that he could just be sort of false flagging?
That's an interesting question.
He's like an artist?
So are you thinking?
I think, yeah, this one's probably a 4 for me. It's no major revelations, but it's fun, and it's short.
It's fun. The art's fun. It's short. But yeah, I'm going to say a 4. I had a good time the whole time, but it's not one of the ones that's going to stick out in my mind for ages and ages, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was that door.
That wraps up Star Door 11, and we don't have access to Star Door 12 yet, so we'll cover that a bit later on.
Oh, we also got an accessory, Phantom Thief's Cape.
Yes.
Which I think adds your evasion or dexterity or stuff like that.
Yeah, you're getting sort of these like branded like amulets or emblems from each of the big bosses you fight through the thing, and this just kind of adds to that collection as like a cool accessory that has like basic effects plus one cool thing. I think I ended up putting it on Ren because it gives her better range or something, because it's a cape that makes you go further.
I don't remember. But then it's time for some dungeoning.
Yes, let's circle back to the Carnelia Monument, which opened up after we finished last episode. This is the one that demands the
Divine Blade successor among your number.
Yes.
Richard is not thrilled at being called the Divine Blade successor, but he admits that he matches that title best out of the people available. Though arguably, if the Sword Hermit is a Divine Blade, Annalise could be his successor, but we've already had an Annalise monument.
And if you wanted to stretch, you could say, like, his successor in the Bracer Guild is his daughter and son.
Yeah, he's got successors, just not in swordsmanship.
But this is the trauma cube, so of course it's going to be the most traumatic option, which is forcing Alan Richard to confront his life and legacy.
We're lucky he's not. But it's fun dramatically, and it's going to be at an impregnable fortress, which I thought was pretty obvious what it would be, but apparently nobody else put together what it would be.
Yeah.
Even though everything we've heard about Laced Fortress is that it was never breached, not even during the 100 Days War.
Yeah, it hasn't been pregnant even once, and they didn't think of it.
It's so unpregnant.
It's so impregnable that they don't even change the map this time. It's not flipped backwards, it's not rearranged, it's just straight up Laced Fortress.
Yeah, but we get to see more of it. We've never been to some of the floors we get to on this. They're not big floors, though.
That's true.
But when we show up in it, they're like, oh, what else could it be? Of course it's this place. Cool. It's like, did you not put this together, my guy?
Yeah. So you sort of one by one led around the different zones of Laced Fortress because everything's kind of locked down in one way or another.
Who did you have in your party at this point?
So Alan, of course, and then I had Mueller and Julia.
Did they say anything fun?
Let me see. I did catch a couple of lines along the way. I don't have anything from when we first arrived.
So I had slightly different because I for you, dear listener, I changed my party so many fucking times to this episode just so that because I knew who was coming each time. So I was like, who might have something fun to say? The number of like quartz arrangements, like every 5 minutes, I felt like I was redoing my quartz. It was hell, but I did it for you for the dialogue. So I brought Josette just for the entrance because I was like, she was kept prisoner with her brothers here.
Oh yeah, of course.
All she has to say, she's like, oh, fun. I can't say I've got anything but bad memories of this place.
Nice.
Which I was just glad that they added that, like, even though it wasn't much. And then I kept Josette for a little longer, but she didn't really have anything else to say at another point.
Yeah. I think the only line I can remember is, like, Julia says something about the military being the military because she's in the military. Mueller does have a comment saying, like, he's impressed by the Royal Army and this setup, like, from his, like, imperial perspective, but I don't recall it being anything beyond that.
I think I did have Julia, because I had a bug, so I quit and restarted. I brought Julia with Josette. And yeah, I think she said something about, like, I've defended this place, but I've never looked at it like an invader or an aggressor or something. Like that it's a shift of perspective of how she usually sees it. We also finally get to chests. There were a lot of chests in this place.
I didn't have a lot of standouts overall this episode, to be honest.
I had some fun ones later on, but I found the last monument had better ones.
Yeah, I caught one in the dungeon of the jail cells of Laced Fortress, which just said, a small plate of window glass lies on the bottom of the empty box. Alas, another unexpected chest pain.
Yeah, that was silly but cute. The first place, you can go off to the right, to the port, the dock.
Which I did.
And you'll immediately get, like, carpet bombed and have to run away by an airship. They're like, well, we can't go there yet, but there's treasure chests, so come back later.
Yes.
But then there's only one door that's unlocked, so that must be where you go. There's monsters all around the courtyard and stuff. Yeah,
it's a bunch of, like, dog-type enemies. A lot of them do the thing where when they die, they give, like, a stat boost to everyone else still on the battlefield. But we first head for the room in the back where the professor was locked up when we last broke into Laced Fortress. In there, you will find only a single person in a big empty room that doesn't look the same as it used to, which is Lieutenant Colonel Sid. Just as everyone else, he's aware of what's going on. He knows he's like a pretend clone of Sid, and just is like, all right, let's do a fight.
So he does confirm that he remembers being in the prologue of this game with Kevin in the underground.
Oh, right, yeah.
Under the cathedral. So he's like, I don't know when I was created, but it was definitely after that point because I have that memory.
Yeah, he summons in a couple of soldiers to back him up. All of the bosses in this section just summon, like, Imperial Army guys. The Sid fight wasn't too bad. Obviously, he's the first sub-guardian, so he's pretty simple.
Yeah. We do get a little line, I think it's before the fight, actually. Because Richard, I think, says when we first arrive, like, I have some ideas for who may end up being bosses we have to fight here. And he's like, well, if you're the first one we're fighting, that doesn't bode well for who lies ahead. No kidding.
He's not wrong.
But everyone flatters each other. Len Richards like, you've already surpassed me as a commander, clearly. And Sid's like, oh no, I've still got a long way to go to catch up to you. And we get this thing that's going to be a recurring theme, which is that Sid is like, I really am sad that you left the army. I really think it would be stronger. And Richard is like, be careful. Remember, that's how I felt about Cassius. I was so obsessed with how being upset that we lost Cassius from the army that it led me down some really bad paths. So watch that feeling. Don't lose yourself in that, because speaking from experience, it's a bad thing, which I thought was nice, because that was like the theme in the first game, less so in SC or now, but I really like that that's still kind of being kept alive, that like this glorifying one man. Yeah,
it's just Alan Richard over and over again shouting, learn from my mistakes, please.
That's literally this whole, please. He's Jacob Marley in the Christmas Carol, right?
Yeah.
Like showing up in chains, being like, you know, Ebenezer Sid.
But yeah, once we have dealt with Sid, he fades away, says we're good fighters, etc., blah, blah, blah. We then get the key to the next area from him.
The barracks, yes. He does hand this one over. We don't just get it when he disappears. He's like, stands back. He's like collapsed, and then he stands back up to hand it to us. He's like, oh wait, before I collapse into light, I have a key for you.
By the way, yeah. So the barracks is one of the zones we didn't get to go into previously, so it's a new little map. It's always nice to get one. There's a handful of items. I think this is where this one came from. My next chest message, which was just another did you know, because you know I love the did you knows. Did you know the average human body contains enough bones to make an entire human skeleton?
That one's great, because in another chest this chapter, it says that there is an entire human skeleton in it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a really dark link, which is like the darkest one I think we've got.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to say, because when I went over, it was after Sid that I went over to the dock, and I put Ren in my party.
Oh, yeah.
And Ren just goes, Powder Matter could destroy that airship. Like, she's like, why are we waiting till later? Powder Matter could just kill that thing. She's unimpressed. But yes.
But in the barracks, after making our way through, we find that our next boss fight is Canon Amalthea.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of upsetting because she's, again, very aware that she's like a recreation of Amalthea and is actively fighting against her sort of prime directive as this clone.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm so ashamed and I hate that I have to fight you because I respect you and I just want to like be servile to you, Alan Richard, because you're my boss and also my secret mental boyfriend.
Yes.
So she's just like, I don't want to fight you, but I have to. This fucking sucks.
Yeah, she's really upset about it.
Even worse than Kurt being aware that he has no sense of self.
Yeah, that's so disturbing. Because this is like, she clearly has a sense of self to be able to be this torn up about it. And she has no bodily autonomy in this form. This is such like nightmare fuel. There's also a comment, I think when Reese was fighting with Ren, one of the things that she was mad at Ren about was that Ren was making light of the fact that people were being violated by having these clones made of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I think is the first time we get that kind of like phrasing of it, that yeah, this is a violation of someone to, I mean, obviously it's horrifying to be a clone that's only going to exist for like 5 seconds and only exist to fight and then dissolve into nothingness, but also it's a violation of all the real people.
Which makes it even more upsetting if any of these memories do actually go back to the original person.
Yeah.
When the fake gets disintegrated. Because can you imagine just having that trauma dump as Amalthea, suddenly like having like, oh, I had to betray all of my principles. I guess?
Good times. Totally nothing to worry about here.
Totally chill.
Alan Richard does get on her case, and we'll see this again later in the Star Door, that he's like, please stop calling me Your Excellency. We've been over this. Call me Sir, like you always do at work.
Yep.
And she's like, well, while we're here, and we're all cosplaying as our soldier selves, I'm going to keep calling you Your Excellency.
Yeah.
Maybe fighting you in this form will actually help me move forward.
Yeah, it's weird because she's like, please let me keep doing it right now.
Yes.
It's just another factor of her being this sort of like frozen in time clone. She even refers to herself as being like Amalthea's shame at herself or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Oh, she's like, I am the Amalthea who serves penance for my bad choices, something along those lines. So she's not just forced to go against her better judgment, she's also critically aware that, like, I am punished Amalthea.
Yeah.
Not Solid Snake Amalthea.
Like, I am Purgatory, Amalthea. She's also mad that Julia is here and standing next to the commander because they have beef, because they're, they have the toxic Yuri from boarding school or whatever between them. And Julia's, like, quite sympathetic to her. She's like, despite how much this whole situation has sucked, I'm really grateful right now that the position I was put in was still to protect Chloe.
Yeah.
To protect the princess. Because I can't imagine being put in this position where I have to try and hurt her. Then I got the best dialogue because I had Ren in the party.
Oh.
And if you'll remember, the chapter where we meet Ren, where she has her tea party by the docks where she slaughters people, is also when Amalthea tries to run the queen over with a tank.
Oh, yeah.
Courtesy of a gospel that Ren gave her. She starts stuttering and she's like, "What are you doing here, child?" And Ren's like, "It's good to see you too. I haven't seen you since I gave you the gospel. I didn't get to ask you how you liked it." And Carnelia's like, "You've got some nerve acting friendly with me after everything you put me through. I'm going to enjoy having this opportunity to punish you for your insolence." And Kevin's like, "Well, she can talk all high and mighty about being reborn, but she still hasn't ditched her high-handed attitude because she just immediately reverts to old Amalthea with Ren. Like, all of a sudden, she's not so worried about the whole having to fight her boss thing."
Nice distraction, yeah.
I just had Ren for fun, and I just loved that that they had that little bit of dialogue. It's crazy how much personalized dialogue for each of these little bosses that they've got.
Yeah. God, the amount of work it must have taken just to give them a bit of flavor.
Yeah. You
have to think about the interactions, like, and the opinions of every character on every other character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fight itself, not too bad.
No, Amalthea died before her last crony did for me.
Yeah, she didn't get much time on the battlefield for me either. I think because I'd saved up enough to just, like, blast S-crafts at everyone.
Yeah. Also, any team with Alan Richard is really strong.
Oh, yeah, he's a machine.
And he's a mandatory member.
Yeah, somewhere in here is when I got his second S-craft, the, like, Sakura Hearts one or whatever it's called.
Oh, Sakura Morning Moon. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that last episode.
Very cool. Which is, yeah, part of why I was just, like, wandering back and forth in the courtyard of Leiston Fortress. Sorry, the Impregnable Fortress. And fighting a bunch of dogs so that I could level up and get everyone's, like, upgraded crafts and stuff. So I spent a surprising amount of time this episode murdering dogs, and I'm not okay with it.
I'm not okay with how cats are always friends in these games and dogs are so often enemies that you have to kill. It's not nice. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Amalthea kind of fades. She warns everyone else to not get in Alan Richard's way as we go forward. And then warns us all that we'll be fighting the strongest warriors in Liberl. I like how each person we talk to gives a slight hint as to who we may face.
Every time.
Obviously, the characters have a pretty strong suspicion of who our last boss is going to be, and ours is,
Me too.
Not, at this point, I think the question anyone is asking, playing, is not who could it be, but rather, are they going to go there? Are they going to do it?
But first, before they're gonna, we gotta fight one more guy in the main building, which is the last spot we go to. And you can explore a bit more. That's where I found that jail message. And I think there's a lot of areas that have been built so that there's bars across half the room, so you can only get into each side from a completely different spot in the fortress. Because they do actually mention as you're going in, I think it was Julia who mentioned it for me, said that Leiston Fortress is specifically designed to be confusing.
Yes.
So that if it is ever invaded, it's difficult for people sort of breaking in to navigate it. Which is why there's all these double backs and, like, to get from one side of the room to the other, you have to tour the entire floor.
Yes. And I had put Estelle and Joshua on my party now for this next bit, and Estelle confirms that when they came here, we only saw the first floor of this building. And then Richard gives the little speech about it being designed to be confusing.
Yeah.
And then Richard gives a little, like, hype speech. But before going in, he's like,
oh yeah, he does.
"These are trials we've never faced before, but there is only one clear path, and we must stand together to surmount this great wall ahead of us and attain victory. Are you with me?" And everyone's like, "Yeah!" Like, he's kind of retreating into his, like, it's like he can't help it. He's in his uniform in his old military base. Like, the military commander in him just comes out. and he hypes everyone up. And you see a hint of the guy who got everyone to follow him.
And that is going to become a tradition over the next couple of games, like the leader person giving like a big speech before we begin the operation.
Yes.
So it's nice to see an early echo of it here, especially because there's no custom dialogue responses to this one. It just says everyone going, yeah! So there are some pretty funny party conversations you can have where someone would be that enthusiastic.
Yeah, if I still had Ren.
Like Ren, Reese, and who would be a good third? Agate. All of them just going, yeah! No, absolutely not. Especially for Alan Richard.
Yeah. It's also really fun, just like, because we know that Alan is able to inspire fanatical loyalty in people. Like, that's how all of FC happened. And so getting kind of a glimpse into the kind of charisma he has to be able to do that is just kind of a nice touch. And then this is where I saw the chest. Like, you see a human skeleton that wasn't in there before. Is this the thing all these chests are doing? Eating humans and collecting skeletons and...
Unpleasant.
Are the chests coffins? Another one says, I could have had a job as a coffin.
And another one says, please don't disturb the sleeping mimics.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? These do all kind of add up. It's like, yeah, you disturb a mimic, you get all your gooey bits slurped off your skeleton, and you're just left with enough bones to make a human skeleton.
What is like a horror movie-ass title we could have for this conspiracy for an episode title? Something like,
The Boxman Prophecies.
That's so good. That's so dumb. It's so good. I love it. Write that down. The Boxman Prophecies.
There it is. But yeah, after wandering around this very confusing building, we find our way to our penultimate boss for this dungeon.
We also find Star Door 12. We're not going in yet, but we do find it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's asking for Alan. It's something like the Repenting Patriot or something.
Yes. I didn't put it. Usually I put a note in saying when I found a door, and I didn't do it this time. Whoops.
Oh, and I got another chest I saw that was good. Thieving attempt failed, -20 charisma.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. When we do get to General Morgan, he's another one who is a little too aware for our own comfort.
Yeah. He's
like really, really mad at being co-opted to serve the Lord of Phantasma because he's like a prideful military man.
I just was screwing through trying to catch up on the screenshots and noticed one more chest message that was the one that I absolutely had to shout out, which is acerbic tomatoes are people in all caps.
Oh,
which is the most horrifying one we've gotten so far.
So we fight Morgan, who's mad at being used for this purpose. I don't really remember anything about his fight.
He's also mad at us for being late. I got some more because I brought Joshua and Estelle to talk to Morgan.
Oh, okay. I didn't swap them over until the next fight.
I did not bring them for the next fight.
Oh.
I did something different. After he's done yelling at them, he suddenly asks how they're doing and how their travels are going. And they're like, yeah, we're glad you're in good health. And it's just a cute check where he gets mad and then he's like, Estelle and Joshua Bright, how are you kids? Are you doing okay? I know you're abroad. Is everything going well? Like, it's just such a switch.
Surprisingly civil for him towards them, especially.
I think now that Cassius is in the army again, he likes us because we're just Cassius's kids. And his conflict before was he's mad at Cassius for leaving the army, but he cares about Cassius and we're Cassius's kids. And now he doesn't have that anymore because Cassius is back in the army right where he wants him, and we're still Cassius's kids. So he's like, great, these are my godchildren now.
It's a nice evolution because when you run into him during the celebration banquet in the Star Door, he's like very begrudgingly polite, so it's nice to see him come a little further. Yeah.
Sure, that's right.
I still had Mueller and Julia at this point, so I think they just say something like along the lines of, sorry that we have to fight you, the end.
Yeah. And then he talks a bit to Richard and basically hints a little bit more at what might be coming by basically is like, you know, I have a lot of scolding to do of you, but I'm not the best person to do so, so I'll let you off for now. The hint that someone better positioned to give him a talking to is coming.
Yes. I wonder who.
And then he pulls out a halberd.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a little fun fact that before the mechanization of the army in Liberl began, this was the standard weapon, and it claimed the lives of countless foes on the battlefield.
Thanks, Morgan.
So, yeah.
For killing so many people with your big chopper.
Well, we know that this weapon did. We don't know if his one, but because it was the standard, I think his impression is that this was the standard weapon of the Liberal army before we had like, guns and orbital stuff.
Oh, see, I read it as like specifically him because he's a senior soldier.
Ah, that could be.
Like his halberd has been in action for so long that it has claimed countless lives, and it was like a don't underestimate the old guy kind of line. That was how I took it, at least.
I took two people like, oh, the halberd's fucking dangerous. But it could be either or both, honestly.
Yeah.
And then we beat Morgan. Morgan's like, well, that's something of relief, which is also kind of horrifying. He's like, oh, thank God, I'm done. I can die now.
Yeah. I can cease to exist again.
Which is like, so our final foe is who I fear it is. And we're just like, Morgan's like, yep, that's who you think. He's not invincible. He is a human, but it's kind of hard to believe that. And then Morgan's like, I'm actually disappointed I can't watch this battle. Like, if I remember and if you meet me again, like, tell me how this went down, because I would like to be a spectator for what's about to happen.
Yeah.
He fades away, and Richard just kind of says some things about, I guess this was inevitable. As long as I'm here, this was always going to happen. But please, everybody, help me with what's coming up. And this, I hope, will help me finally move on from my past and forward with my life.
Yeah.
I have Joshua and Estelle here, so they comment a bit too, even though I didn't bring them to the fight of the actual battle. But they basically confirm who it is, because Joshua says, it's been 6 years now since he took me in. This will be a chance to show him how much I've grown during that time.
Well, yeah, at this point, because I knew that obviously our next challenge is going to be a Brigadier General Boss Dad Bright.
Yeah.
I went and traded in the kids. So I had Kevin, Richard, Estelle, and Joshua, because I wanted to see how they would react. Because honestly, that seemed more interesting to me than like any of the military reactions. But who did you take?
I brought Ren.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to see if Ren had dialogue with him. I remembered that I had her when I played years ago, and that I liked it, but I had no idea what they'd said. I just remembered I liked it. And then I brought Reese. I had a suspicion that will be confirmed, and I'll tell you what it is when we get there. I did on the way up to him find a chest that just says, nope, Joshua isn't in here, which I think is just a fun callback to SC, all being about still looking for Joshua.
Just anywhere. She was pretty frantic right at the start of that game. I wouldn't put it past her.
But yeah, so we go up with our respective parties.
And if it isn't Papa waiting for us in his office that didn't have a working hidden door anymore, I was a little bit sad about that.
The Divine Blade, the Divine Father.
Divine Papa.
Yeah, the Divine Papa is here.
I didn't really take note of any of his like generic dialogue towards Alan, because I don't care that much about Alan, but I did specifically note down when he started interacting with the children's.
Yes, talk about that.
So after he says his whatever to Kevin and Alan, he moves on to the kids and says, still, I wasn't expecting the two of you to get dragged into this with you out of the country. But he mentions that he's been reading all of the letters that they've sent him and make sure that they're doing well. It's all very polite. And he says, either way, this will be a good chance to show me how much you've improved since you left on your trip. I'm looking forward to it. Show me your moves. And that's when we get into the fight. How about you? What reactions did you get?
So I will note very briefly, because I do have a little bit of, like, it's not that interesting what he says to Kevin or Alan, but basically with Kevin, he confirms that, like, he thought the Oriole was done with its shit. Can you confirm that the Gralsritter also thought the Oriole was done with its shit? Like, this wasn't something you thought might be happening? And Kevin's like, no, we had no fucking idea. Alan, it's very much a thing of, like, now I can, if I can beat you in battle, then I can move forward with what's next in my life.
Yeah.
And then Ren is just glaring really hard at him with ... And Cassius goes, what's with the funny stare, young lady? And she just goes, you're a real monster, aren't you? I should be able to sense how strong you are. Why can't I? And Cassius goes, you might be a genius, but, even you can't get a handle on my capabilities so easily. And then he goes, but while I have the chance, you should drop by my house with Estelle and Joshua sometime. We'd welcome you with open arms. And Ren's like, why would I do that? And that's the end of it. But I just love the fact that all of the Brights are, like, in on this. Like, Cassius is, like, never met Ren before. And he's already like, yes, we're adopting this child. Like, my children are off acquiring my next adoptee. Like, I like that. I thought that was cute. And then Reese was really interesting.
Okay.
She's like, it's good to meet you. They've never met before. She introduces herself and Reese Argent. And Cassius goes, Argent, are you related to Rufina?
Oh.
And Reese goes, you've met Rufina? And Cassius goes, no. But her name was known by a portion of the Bracer Guild. And we were actively trying to recruit her out of the Gralsritter and into the Bracer Guild.
Oh. She
was known as the church's most skilled negotiator in the entirety of the church, not just the Gralsritter, in anything. Her way of doing things was very Bracer-like. She was a negotiator, she was a diplomat, she did that stuff. Her nickname was the Thousand Arms. They thought, since she's not a Dominion, there's a chance we could get her from the church. So they had put together a pitch or proposal to try and recruit her when she died. And we're trying to get her at the time. Kevin confirms that everything that he's heard about her and how skilled she was is true. And that Kevin had also heard that there were talks of the guild trying to get her to leave the church. But she lost her life before that, and then, Cassie's just, I'm so sorry for your loss. She sounds like she was an amazing woman. And Rhys thanks him. So, and I thought that was really interesting, because my suspicion was everybody ever who's worth anything knows Cassius, or has some connection to Cassius. Rufina must have crossed paths with Cassius. And I thought this probably isn't going to happen, but it's possible that if we bring Rhys, we'll learn something about Rufina. And we did.
Nice.
But then we get right before the battle, the great lines where Cassius goes, "Richard, I have only one thing to say to you. Defeat me. That is all." And then the battle starts. And as he's saying this, Silver Will starts to play. And y'all know how I get about Silver Will.
It's good stuff. This was a tough fight.
It's tough. I died my first try. I had to do it again.
I came very, very close, even on easy. He was really doing a number. I have to say, his S-Craft Phoenix Wave looks sick as hell.
Sick.
It's so destructive that almost wiped my entire party in one go. Everyone was in 100 HP range.
Yeah, it did wipe my party, or except for one person, because I hit Grail Sphere as soon as the battle started, and then was keeping up shields the whole time, but it took so long for him to use it that he managed to get me when only one party member when nobody had their shields up, I was trying to cast it. And so when I did it again, he did it earlier and I had my shields up and I was okay. But it was rough. The thing that's really cool about this is that he has no spawns, right? He has no backup. It's just him. He's still the hardest fight we've had in this game. Maybe the hardest fight we will have. And it lives up to the legend, right? Of Cassius Bright, the Divine Blade. That he doesn't need any backups, any extra monsters, any extra spawns to be the toughest fight.
Yeah, I was definitely having to spam S-Crafts in a way that I typically don't have to.
Yeah, and it's tough and frustrating, but it's really satisfying. It would be a letdown if Cassius was not this.
Yeah, it would also be a letdown if this was a scripted fail fight in any way as well. You can't have a fight against Cassius and have it predetermined like that. That would suck.
Especially when it's presented in this way of this is a test of skill. This is a trial. It's not it is presented as this is an opportunity to try and overcome him.
And overcome him we do eventually.
Yeah, the whole party is collapsed on the ground, trembling after this.
I love when they do this. They really make you feel the post-battle, yeah.
And Cassius is still standing. We've defeated him, but he's on his feet.
He's fine, yeah.
Granted, he's also a clone who's currently disintegrating, but,
Yeah, I did also make sure to give Alan the final blow on him just for, story reasons.
I think Rhys ended up with it for me. I never have the patience once I'm one blow away to, wait.
Yeah, this man could come out and bite you for sure.
Exactly. I do like that he complains. He's like, I am really bummed that you're not coming back because I really wish I could just bum all my paperwork off on you.
But he does sort of challenge Alan. It's so has this given you the resolve you've been seeking? And Alan pretty much commits. He's yes, I believe that the path I'm following is the correct one and I am committed to it. I'm going to sort of redeem myself my way.
And he says, but as my final act as a member of the military, I'll get everyone home from this crisis. I'll get everyone out of Phantasma.
For my version with Estelle and Joshua, Cassius then moves on to the kids and he's yeah, make sure you take care of each other. Estelle's, don't worry about us. We'll get out of here safely. We promise. And Cassius says, oh, I'm sure you will. But when you get out of here, you'll have to try and find the time to pop back to La Belle from time to time too. I'll be happy to see you. And make sure to bring Rain with you, all right?
Yeah, he does say that.
Which kind of stumps Estelle. She's oh, implying that maybe Dad's not entirely in on the plan. She seems shocked that he would suggest she come home to visit. But then she's yeah, no problem.
It could be that Joshua and Cassius have talked about it, but not Estelle. Or it could just be that Estelle doesn't realize that Cassius knows her that well enough that he's figured that this is obviously what's happening.
Yeah.
And then he turns to Kevin and is Kevin, by now you have a pretty good idea who the Lord of Phantasma is, don't you? Mm-hmm. And Kevin says the same thing that he said earlier in the chapter where he's yeah, I just need one little push to be completely sure. I bet that'll happen in the next area. Cassius is it's not really my place to give you advice. I don't know you like that. So I'll just say this. And he goes, no man is an island. No matter how much they may wish to isolate themselves from others, no one can live their life truly alone.
Yeah.
Out of context, you'd say, how does that relate to the Lord of Phantasma thing? But it means something to Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin definitely reacts as though this has hit him particularly, which made me think that this might be sort of re-quoting or paraphrasing something that the true identity of the Lord of Phantasma has said to him before.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not confirming or denying anything. I'm just keeping my face neutral here.
Yes, you are.
I like that this is an echo of like what Cassius says about bonds too in the second game. Like it's not the same quote, obviously. He said that, or Estelle said that same quote in this game. It is consistent with, Cassius's worldview too.
Yeah. Well, we don't have many chapters left to find out what that might mean.
No.
But for now, we are done with Dad Bright.
Richard's looking quite sad after he's like kind of looking off into space with a ... And then he rallies and he's like, "Now, after what we've done here, we don't have anything to fear. And then we can go into that area that we were getting carpet bombed by an airship, and we're not getting carpet bombed anymore. There's a super gladiator headband and like a super gladiator belt. The very fact that we're getting so many extra CP accessories maybe suggests at some point we'll need more than 4 people equipped at once."
Huh. Yeah, we are definitely getting loaded up on gladiator stuff, especially, which are the best gear in the entire game.
Yeah.
Other than some of the boons you get at the end of these Guardians, like the Divine Blades amulet or pendant, I think it is, or emblem.
Yeah, that was great. That's just all stats up.
Yeah, you get that one, and then there's another one after this for the next big Guardian where they all boost all of your stats. One leans more attack, one leans more defense, I believe. But they all get like a big bump up. They are very helpful. And then the gladiator stuff, the belt gives you more CP per like action, and the other one, the headband, gives you auto CP, or maybe the other way around.
I can't remember which way around, but yeah, those are the 2 things. Do you want to do a lap of the Hermit's Garden and then do the Star Tour?
Yeah, I didn't actually take any notes about the garden at this point, but if you've got something to say.
Yeah, everyone's changed their places, so we've got some stuff.
Okay.
Basically, so first off, Tita and Agate are still together, and Agate is mad that he didn't get a chance to fight Cassius.
Oh, I did see that, yep.
Tita is talking about how Agate is just grumbling about it, and she doesn't understand why he's mad that he didn't get to fight Cassius, because she's like, deep down, he really respects Cassius. And she doesn't quite get that, like, yes, that's why he wants to fight Cassius, because he respects him, and he wants to, like, test himself against him.
I did get a variant on that line because I still had Estelle and Joshua in the party.
Yeah.
When you walk up and talk to Agate, it's Estelle who begins the conversation. She's like, "Hey, Agate, I just wanted to let you know, we got to the end and the boss fight was Dad. I'm sorry you couldn't be there." And Agate's like, yeah, I'll admit I'm kind of pissed about that, but it's fine. I'll just catch him later. That man has beat the shit out of me so many times that I owe him a return."
Yeah. And, Shara comments something like, "Oh, it was Cassius? Well, you guys overcame him, that's great, but, if the 3rd heir is Cassius, the 4th heir is probably someone even stronger, and that's scary to think about." And Oliver is going, "Shara's really drinking too much, you guys. Shara's stressed and, like, kind of having a mental spiral right now, and she's just drinking faster and faster, and I'm scared. And if I try to keep up with her, I will end up in a coma," which he's learned his limits. Reese is still standing over in the corner by the pond, and this time she's like, "Wow, it's amazing seeing how strong their bond has become." Still thinking about Ren and Estelle. She says they're basically like sisters.
Cute.
Josette is so upset that Estelle is the one who reaches out and says, "Josette, you look really down. Are you okay?" And Josette is just like, "I'm not sure we're ever going to get to go home."
Aw,
It's really sad. And this is when she says her thing about, "There's so many stars, but not a single constellation I know. Like, there's no connection between here and home. I can't see how we get back."
Just another young kid acting like a young kid for once, I guess.
Yeah, Julia is now helping Chloe with the library stuff, and mostly just asking Chloe to please take a break. Claudia's like, I wonder how the ancient people would feel about the fact that the Oriole created this whole other world, or whatever in it. Like, this isn't what they expected the Oriole to do, to create this whole other extra world and funnel all these resources and all the energy, whatever it takes, towards creating another world. Is this really what they wanted, or is this just betrayed by the system they put their faith in and the power that they were asked to trust? Like, it's a very political kind of politician way of looking at it. Like, the whole creation of this subsystem and the whole, like, system processing, it kind of made me think of AI, right? Like, this idea of, like, all this money being invested into this AI system, like, is that really what the people want? Like, is that a betrayal of them?
Yeah.
But that there's a lot of accounts from people at the time, but they're really fragmentary. And Estelle's just like, "Please don't burn yourself out, Chloe. Please take a break when you need to."
Oh.
Mueller's just excited about the whole idea of testing skills against Cassius Bright. Richard is feeling, like, at peace and happy, and like, wow, I can move forward for the first time since the coup d'etat. Jin is just thinking about, like, wow, he's strong.
Yeah.
Annalise is like, where did everybody go? And then if you have Cheetah in the party, she goes, wait, I see you, Cheetah, come for a cuddle. And if you have Ren in the party, she does the same for Ren, which is just funny. She's just like desperate for somebody to cuddle.
No.
And then, Ren is saying, looking at Joshua and Estelle and going, the two of you train together every day, huh? I wonder if Estelle's actually getting any stronger because of it. And then she comments, maybe I should try to train you, Estelle. And Estelle's like, go easy on me, okay? Mm-hmm. And then Estelle and Joshua are sitting on some stairs nearby together, looking very at peace. And the dialogue kind of is as though they were part of the battle with Cassius, even though they weren't. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
But basically, Josh was like, yeah, I fought Cassius once before when I was 11. Mm. This was different. I didn't understand what I was getting myself into when I did that battle. Yeah. Nor did I, both from a combat perspective and from this was going to become my father perspective. Back then, he held back clearly because I was a child. And so Josh was like, it was really cool to actually be able to fight him and see what he's like when he's not holding back and test myself against him. And so I was like, the only way to catch up to Dad is hard work, so that's what we got to do.
True that. Nice. But yeah, I really didn't do a tour of the garden at this point. So other than a few lines I caught, which would just been holdovers from the next time that I was there, I pretty much just moved on to our final star door for the day.
Yeah, star door 12.
Let's do this thing!
And this is for Richard.
Yes, it says the reformed whatever guy, bring him. You don't have to do a battle or anything, thankfully. It's just drop him off and see what happens.
Not that would be that hard with Alan Richard.
True.
We're in Rouen. We're in his new RNA office that we've heard about. RNA research.
Which is situated next to the former mayor's residence, which is becoming like the town hall on the south side of the town where the docks and stuff are.
I think this actually is the guy who became mayor. It's his house because we're getting his mail still sent. Apparently they have a common issue with his mail showing up here. But yeah, we've got Richard and Amalthea in their business wear, which is kind of wild to see.
Alan is wearing a shirt and slacks.
Like he said, he wasn't lying when he said that's what he wears.
It was true.
Amalthea almost looks like she's wearing like a non-crazy version of a Campanella outfit or something.
It does seem similar, yeah. Same sort of like color blocking at the very least.
It's almost gesture-like. It's very funny seeing her like this. And she also, like, her makeup, like, it looks like her face looks softer and more feminine, even if it might be the exact same sprite. But she has these earrings on,
But still with the most like, cunty, pencil-thin eyebrows you ever did see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and her bob is still pinned straight, too. Don't get me wrong. It's still her, but she's got, like she looks like a middle-aged office woman as opposed to, like,
she does.
Cunty, like, hell gremlin clawing her way out of the tunnels underneath the pearl.
Climbing up the side of those columns, yeah. So yeah, they're meeting with Marano, who is the businesswoman from Bose. Mm-hmm. She had been getting them to do a bunch of market research for her about expanding into the Imperial market, I believe.
Yeah, into Arabonia.
Yeah. The meeting goes well. They've given her a lot of information. She's very happy with it. And on the way out, she's like, I might have another job for you. I also want to expand into Orad State. They're like, Orad, that's a really small, weird country to target. And Marano says, but you see, I can flood the market with my wares and take it over instantly. And then it's a gateway to other countries. So they say they'll put someone on it. They've got agents in the area. So the implication seems to be that all of the intel officers formerly of the intelligence division,
or at least many of them,
have just sort of spread out to wherever they were going to go. And they're just acting as contact points for Alan and Amalthea at this point.
We get a name that we haven't heard before. The Rhines brothers are the ones who are located near Orad. So that's a name to look out for in the future. We don't hear more follow-up at this point, but they probably wouldn't drop a name if there wasn't a point.
Yep. They move on to another meeting with the mayor after that. We don't really see much of it. He has some business-related questions to ask. But after the meeting, the mayor is leaving. After their discussions, Richard spots some mail on the side table in the office that was misdelivered to them, addressed to the mayor because this was his former residence.
Though not before, Alan Richard once again tells her Amalthea to stop calling him Your Excellency. Can you just call me Sir? Mm-hmm. Please, for the love of God, will people stop calling me by the title that I committed treason under?
Yeah. Alan says, despite the fact that it's about to start raining outside, he's going to make a quick dash over to deliver this letter for the mayor, because it's the good citizen thing to do. But as he's making his way over, he realizes that this letter is sealed like an intelligence division letter.
Yeah.
It's a special spycraft thing where the letter itself is a decoy and means nothing. The actual message being delivered is based on how the envelope is folded.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. Like, having just come off 007 First Light, I'm like, yeah, that's sick spy stuff. Love it. And the message that the folds are creating is saying, come to the landing port.
It's funny because obviously the reason that he decided, no, I have to run out into the rain is because he recognized immediately the way it was sealed. But also, like, theoretically, Amalthea was in the intelligence division. Like, she probably noticed it too.
You would think, yeah.
And she does clearly not really believe him. She's clearly like, okay. Like, she's clearly suspicious of his excuse. But he is like, he forgets that she was in the intelligence division and would also know the secret codes.
So Alan heads to the landing port in the rain, in his shirt and slacks.
And he's thinking to himself, this person resents me. Whoever this is, it's somebody who used to work for the intelligence division who resents me because I ruined their lives.
Yeah.
He's talked about this before, but kind of in his internal monologue, the way he really sees is like, I ruined the futures of every single person who put their faith in me.
Yeah.
It's like having to live with where you were January 6th. Like, obviously, you're responsible for that. But he's like, well, I did that to all these people.
Yeah, he's definitely on a self-punishment kick with this automatically as well.
But it's also interesting because he doesn't seem to just be like, oh, I hate myself, I'm terrible. Like, he does not pull any punches with himself. And I think it actually seems to be helpful for him in, like, his own ability to, whether you can redeem yourself or not for what I did, like, to, like, morally stay on the up and up now is to just to not lie to himself about how bad what he did was.
So once we arrive at the landing port, we do get the reveal of who sent this letter, ostensibly for the mayor, but actually for Alan Richard. And, you know, Alan being a good commander, he remembers the name of all of his officers, and he says, oh, it's good to see you, Sender. The letter was sent by Sender. Wow.
It's so bad.
Oh, it's so stupid.
It's so good.
So Sender sent a letter. The letter Sender sent.
Yeah. And he's clearly still working for the army.
Yep.
Alan's like, please stop calling me Colonel, because that's, like, the main thing he says these days.
Yeah.
He says saying that has become my hobby.
Yeah.
No one will do it. And the guy's like, oh, I know you're not a colonel, but I'm going to call you that anyway. I have a question for you. Why'd you leave the army? And then starts to work himself up more and is like, what happened to your love for your country? Like, what about your loyalty and patriotism? Yep. And Alan was just like, well, I see you went back to the military, you know, and he remembers stuff about this guy. And he's like, you know, I remember your talent. I remember how good you were at the military academy. If you hadn't had the misfortune of meeting me, you would have been promoted by now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about what I did to you. Because of what I got you involved in, your career is probably never going to progress. Which doesn't answer the question at all.
No.
This guy's like, don't worry, Commander. Like, I don't blame you or harbor any resentment, which I think Alan Richard probably doesn't like.
He wants people to.
It suggests that this guy doesn't realize how bad what they did was, like, that the coup was wrong. If he's like, I don't resent you for radicalizing me, it suggests, are you still radicalized?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't regret following you. Like, you should regret it. That's the whole point, is that he was wrong. It's just like, I regret leading you into that, so you should regret following me.
He's like, well, you know, you're wasting your potential, basically, not being in the army. Like, you're... Same thing everyone is saying. Like, you're such a strong fighter. You're such a strong force for the army. Like, you're wasting your time doing anything else. And we kind of get more of a look into Alan's mindset here.
I was just going to say before that, the other thing, he's not just talking about, like, you have such talent, but also you loved the country so much. You were so dedicated to it. Like, what happened to that dedication and that patriotism?
And Alan sort of communicates, like, I'm repenting in my own way. I can't do army again.
Yeah. Because
that fervor, that desire to do absolutely anything and everything in service of the country, regardless of consequences or, like, repercussions, I still feel that.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. I am still, like, a fanatic nationalist.
Or at least I still have the potential. I can still see myself falling into fanatic nationalism.
Yeah. Because
I'm reckless and I
feel that draw. And he kind of breaks down, like, this self-examination of what went wrong for him in the army. It's that he's always been talented at intelligence gathering, and he was, like, the master of intelligence. But the problem was that he worked himself to a point where he convinced himself that the only important information was the information that served his purposes.
Yeah.
And so he basically forced confirmation bias in that he decided that the only useful information was the information that served his purposes. And so he narrowed his perspective more and more and more to serve that, sounding familiar to anyone who lives in the modern day, where the problem is he needs to be looking at things from all perspectives, like not just his own, not just his country's, but other people's, other levels in society, other countries, other intelligence divisions, like to get the full picture of the world, to understand what he wants to know and how it affects everything else, because that was the missing link. He just kind of bullheadedly, blinders on, like pursued his goals based on the information he gathered that he decided was true because it confirmed what he already believed.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how he just veered off into this bizarro path of like, technically the goal you're trying to achieve is still the same.
Protect the country.
But you've made a lot of concessions and a lot of adjustments along the way and haven't really realized it. Basically, the missing ingredient for him was empathy, seeing things from other point of views.
Yeah. Which also, I think, to him means that he can't do intelligence from, like, this military perspective. It has to be from a civilian perspective because it has to, that's the only way he can approach it all from, like, what is benefiting people of different walks of life in this country.
Yeah, because he was operating from this national perspective only when he put his plans into effect. And now that he's kind of come back down and sort of identified what effect he had on the country, he's like, oh, sure, at the country level that did some stuff, but look how badly I fucked literally everybody who isn't like a king or queen.
Yeah. And I almost fucked over the queen really badly. I almost fucked up people all over because I got so narrow-minded about what it means to protect the country. And I think this is really clear how to do, because it kind of reminds me of the conversations you'll hear from people who have formerly been in a cult.
Yeah.
And have been dedoctrinated, I don't remember the word. I think you'll hear from people like that often is like, I am susceptible to these patterns of thinking, and I know this now, and like I'm susceptible to this kind of patterns of thought.
So I know, for me, there is no safe amount of that. It's like, if I'm involved in that, it's going to go bad, because that's just how I'm programmed.
And often people who have been in a cult or whatever, are less likely to join a different religion, even if it's not like, an intense, crazy cult, because they're like, I can't just do it a little bit. Like,
Yeah, and they can maybe identify, not one-to-one identical, but like the similarities in like the architecture, the structure of it is like, oh, this echoes the thing that was bad, so I know that it could go bad again for me.
Or even if like it's the overall structure, like there are plenty of people who are like normal in it, like every religion you find is gonna have extremists, and like I'm gonna find my way there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to just be normal about it.
At the end of all that, Alan sort of identified this about himself, and it's like, when I take a more grounded perspective, a civilian perspective, and apply those same skills, it's something that's never been available to the general population. Sort of having that access to like research and information and intelligence gathering for less nefarious purposes. So yeah, he's kind of acting as, for the most part, a business analyst, which is better, definitely.
And it's a new job in this world, it seems. Definitely in liberal, maybe not in other countries, but it's like a new kind of job in the modern age.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a democratizing force, arguably. Just the idea of like a certain skill set being available to the civilian population and not just being the provenance of the military and the state power.
He's reverse gatekeeping, basically.
Yeah. And we get a comment later from, at the end of the chapter, from Amalthea, that she knows that he really likes the small cases that come.
Yeah.
It's the exact kind of stuff that he would have dismissed as unimportant when he was in the military, that he's now realized that you have to think of those things as important and value those things, or else everything else falls apart. Yeah.
So, after giving his big, long, entirely reasonable explanation of his, like, mindset, Sender pretty much rejects it and says, nah, that's bullshit.
Goodbye, Colonel. We'll never meet again. He's like, you've abandoned your promise to build the country's future with your hands. He's like, you're just too good at debating. I know that there's no argument I can make against you because your arguments are always foolproof from a debate perspective, but you suck and I hate you and you're wrong.
And I'm leaving forever. And off he goes.
But Alan Richards clearly come to the perspective of like, the best way that I can help my country is to help the people in it rather than help it as like a state.
A monolith, yeah.
Yeah, and that didn't work for this guy because he's clearly still radicalized. And then Richard has a little spiral.
Oh, yes, he does.
He's like, I believe that this is the right path, but I'm still terrified that I'm making the wrong choice because I've learned very well that I can't trust my own judgment.
At this point, Amalthea sort of sidles into frame as well, because I think you're right. She would have seen the envelope, known what it meant, and was just waiting for Alan to be triggered by it, so that she could follow behind in lockstep, as she did during both of the meetings, and just sort of stand off to the side, ready to assist when needed.
Yeah.
So as soon as Sender sends himself to his next location, she steps in and basically says, give him time. He says that now. He says, like, he'll never talk to you again and you're, like, eternal disappointment. But just give him time to process his feelings. That's what I needed. And look at me now. I'm doing great.
And she also does point out that he's adjusting, too, to, like, the plans he had for his future not happening.
Yeah.
In some ways, him resenting Alan now might actually be healthier in the long run. She doesn't say this, but, like, my read on this is kind of like, in some ways, him getting disillusioned and then angry with Alan might actually be healthier in the long run in terms of de-radicalization and adjusting to a more healthy worldview.
Fingers crossed for Sender. But at this point, they make their way back to the RNA offices. And as they arrive, a special ringtone goes off. And I like that they have a special encrypted call ringtone.
Yeah.
So that they know that it's super secret spy business with their very loud ringtone.
Yeah, so everybody knows about the super secret spy business.
Yeah, ding-a-ling-a-ling encrypted call. Ding-a-ling-a-ling encrypted call.
I also like that right before this happens, they're like reminiscing fondly about how good they were at survival camp, each of them in military academy. I'm like, you're such freaks.
Oh, yeah. So they duck upstairs to take this call.
I love that during this call, Alan's like, yes. No, I'm not a colonel anymore. Please stop saying that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's his catchphrase at this point.
Yeah, he literally just says, please don't call me that anymore. He doesn't even reference the title, but you know, like from how many times it's come up.
Right, yeah.
But the update is from, assumably, one of their agents in the field, letting them know that the Red Constellation, a Jaeger Corps, have shown up in the Eastern Quarter.
In Calvard.
And are making moves.
The Eastern Quarter, we've heard of it before, but that's in Calvard. And they mentioned this is another Jaeger Corps in Calvard. Like, a number have been, like, moving into town.
Okay, well, yeah, so we're hearing moves from the Red Constellation, a big name Jaeger Corps, and Alan's like, this is serious. I might need to go check this one out personally. Cut to him waiting to board a ship at the airport. As it pulls in, Amalthea also shows up just behind him.
He's, like, thrown off by this. He's like, you're here, Kanone? It's like, have you met this woman? Of course she's here.
Yeah. It's like, it's a subordinate's job to see her boss off on a trip, which I don't think is in the job description, but going above and beyond, we love to see it.
He goes, in the military, not in civilian jobs. I was just going to say, this is the moment where she mentions that, like, he's like, take care of the office. I don't think any big requests will come in that you can't handle. But she's like, no, I can take care of it. And I know you always look forward to the small requests, too. So they'll be given just as high a standard of service. And my thought was, this is an Estelle and Joshua influence thing. This is, and Cassius. This is the Brights' influence on Richard.
I think so, yeah. Just, you know, jobs big and small, they're all important. Everybody's important. Perspective. As we are setting out, like, internal compasses and deciding what we want to do with our lives, Sieg flies in from out of shot unexpectedly.
Yep.
For a second, I thought we were going to get a scene where fucking Alan Richard knows how to speak bird as well, but thankfully no.
Kanone calls him Julia's bird, which is wild to me, even though, like, Julia spends a lot of time with him.
Thankfully, this one time, Sieg is not communicating with his voice. He's communicating with a letter strapped to his leg, as a delivery bird should be doing.
Yep.
Turns out, it isn't a note from Chloe, after all. It's a note from Cassius.
Yeah.
And it's just saying, like, hey, while you're out there, we'd really love to know what the deal is with the Red Constellation also. Can you please investigate and then tell us what you find out? XOXO, the army.
Yeah, Alan's like, honestly, this information won't come cheap, Brigadier General. But I guess it's a little confirmation that he's still serving his country in the more traditional way, too, just with that step of remove.
Yeah.
But he's not putting himself in a military position where that's what his job revolves around.
Yeah, he still wants to serve his country, just not in military service.
He's like, power corrupts, absolutely, and any power corrupts me, so let's not have any.
Yeah. But that brings us to the end of Star 12.
I accept your request. So yeah, how do we want to rate that?
I quite like this one.
Me too.
Because it acts as sort of a coda for Alan's story.
Yeah.
We get a nice little payoff on like recognizing what he did wrong, why it was wrong, and what he's going to do differently. And that's not usually, we don't usually get all of that in like a villain's pivot.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Because I quite like that it's like dropping some seeds of things we're going to investigate down the line in the series, but also properly putting a button on Alan's story in a way that shows that he's doing the work.
And it's only 20 minutes.
And it's short, yeah.
I'm thinking a 4 or 4.5. I'm trying to decide. I'll say 4.5 for now.
Okay.
So yeah, and next up is the formerly Esmelas Monument that is now Novahl. It's black.
Yeah. Don't know why, but I guess it matches up with Joshua better that way, because that is who we need to bring this time.
And I guess it matches the color scheme of the place we're going.
That's true, yeah. So we get a slightly different message when we approach the monument this time. In my lord's place, I, the Schwarzritter, do decree. Here lies the Black Ark. Place your hand on this monument, the orphan of a lost village among your number. It's like the shortest one by far. This place is this color. Come in.
I think the of among your number kind of lessens the impact of the last sentence. Like, place your hand on the monument, orphan of a lost village, would be a lot more impactful than orphan of a lost village out of the group.
Yeah, it's a little awkwardly phrased. I get that it's mirroring the phrasing of the previous one.
Yeah.
But this is already like so short and to the point compared to those more florid statements. This arc is black. Come through, orphan.
The cast seems to find this impactful, because Joshua gets some big exclamation points. I had Estelle and Ren in the party at this point.
Yeah, same.
Oh, cool. Oh, I guess it makes sense. They're also kind of reacting to this. They know Schwarzritter's in there. Even Ren is like, are you okay? Like, after that message, like, she seems a little bit, like, worried after the Hamel reference. Nobody takes a Hamel reference lightly in this. As they shouldn't, of course, but...
Yes.
We teleport to the Glorious, but it's black. I've forgotten that it was red and not actually called the Black Ark. I was so confused as to why everyone was like, how do they not know where they're going? And then I remembered, oh, right, it's not fucking black.
The Crimson Ark has taken a turn for the darker. Nothing has really changed with the layout of it, per se. Like, they do say, like, it looks like the Glorious, but it might not necessarily be like the Glorious on the inside, but it is.
But it is. Or as Ren says, it's black like a nasty crow.
Joshua's right there, dude. Like, be sensitive.
And she goes, maybe it ate something burned and changed its color.
Sure. Like, Ren, we know you're smarter than this. Like, you're just playing precocious now. Chill out. Yeah, this dungeon we have done before.
Yep.
In a different color scheme.
It's a lot faster this time, thankfully.
Oh, yeah. None of this, like, turning on and off gates. There's just some of those electrified gates are still up around the place, so you might have to take a long way around.
Yep.
But mostly, it's just the same as last time, going around, fighting some fights, finding a lot of treasure chests, because there are treasure rooms that have 3 or 6 chests in them. I think there's one that has 8, even.
Maybe, yeah.
Just packed in there. But yeah, so you're just working your way around to find key cards to use the elevators to sort of continue through the dungeon until eventually you can get into the forecastle, the sort of keep on top of the deck that when you arrive in the Black Ark is blocked by one of those woo-woo barrier things.
But a few things happen on the way. First, we have a boss fight before there. But we go down towards the hangar. I did want to shout out at least one chest message, which is just look behind you. Yeah, I can see behind my characters, and I still was like a little like,
Yeah. I will sing out one which just says, Gary was here, Ash is a loser.
Yes. I got all lowercase #treasure chest life.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of cute.
Written out as words before hashtags were really a part of the culture, I suppose.
There's a note, beware the carnivorous bookshelf. I'm curious.
Don't know what that's about. Working our way through, we find Star Door 13 along the way, which challenge us to complete 400 battles to get in. I had the option to go straight in, so I guess I've done at least.
Yep, I've got enough. We didn't do it yet, because that's for a future episode, but if you have not gotten there, you'll want to work on that.
Do some grinding, yeah.
Yeah. Though there's one more chest message I'm going to shout out, which is making changes from the Japanese script. How treasurous. Treasure-ish, written like that, which is dumb pun, but also I do enjoy the calling out of like how insane people who don't speak Japanese get
Yeah.
about thinking there's been a change from the Japanese scripts. If you put the Japanese script in Google Translate, or nowadays, I guess, ask AI to translate it, that's not an accurate translation because Japanese works differently as a language. I remember this with Metaphor Refantasio, where people were like, wow, look at like what Gallica, who's your fairy companion, she's so like polite and like, you know, friendly and not, you know, sassy in the Japanese. And this is the stupid localizers who are like trying to make her sassy and rude. And every person who spoke Japanese was like, the fact that you think she's being polite and like nice in Japanese shows you don't understand a lick of Japanese. Like it's just like the Japanese it's a more subtle language, and a literal translation of it is not going to communicate the like nuance of it.
Yeah.
Like obviously I'm not saying that there have never been cases where something translated from Japanese to English just takes too many liberties or like is like not accurate, but like if you don't speak the language that it's being translated from,
maybe chill.
Give a little good faith to the fact that people who do are the ones translating it. Anyway.
Yeah, eventually we work our way down to the dungeon, the laser wall dungeon that we had to break
the brig
somebody out of last time, where it was all a puzzle about making sure you open the right laser grids. This time, you usually see a bunch of treasure chests in there, and then down in the very last dungeon cell, who should be laying upon the bench inside the cell but boss fight of the year 2025, Gilbert Stein, famed author of Fat to Fit.
I was so fucking excited when you said you wanted to make him boss fight of the year 2025 because I knew what was coming. And I knew every time he showed up in third, we were going to be saying boss of the year 2025.
Fucking Gilbert.
He's like, I cannot wait to see your face over the course of this game.
This little shit has overstayed his welcome so long that he's just welcome again. It's bizarre. So the party question him and it's like, how the fuck did you get here this time? And it turns out he just fell into another vanish effect and got teleported somewhere different.
Like, he didn't get teleported into the prison, to be clear. He got teleported and all the Archaisms ganged up on him and threw him in prison.
He was surrounded by Volans or something, one of the particular enemy types. I can't remember which one they are. But yeah, now he's in this cell and we're like, all right, well, I guess we'll help you. So you hit the computer, you can open all the chests.
He's like, no, I don't want your help, but please help me.
Yeah. There's a great line from Ren, who I had in my party, where she says, you know, you're kind of a piece of shit, but the 13 factories would probably really love first-hand experience of this whole, like, phase space experience that we've been going through. And as a person who's fell through 2 different vanish effects, you've probably got the most experience.
Yeah.
You could probably leverage that, she suggests. And he just freaks out at seeing her, thinks she's here to murder him.
Lady Ren!
And then the Brights are just like, chill. Everybody chill. We'll let you out.
So Kevin calls him special. He's like, you really are a special thing, aren't you?
Yeah, so I made a point of opening all the cells except his to get all the treasure chests first before letting him out, because I had a feeling he would probably steal them if you didn't.
He didn't steal them because I opened them, but then I didn't just to check. But I thought it was a possibility. I think in the remake there's a possibility they'll do that. It was probably a limitation of technology rather than of Gilbert's potential.
Because, like, was that the gimmick in the original Glorious Dungeon? There was something about if you open them in the wrong order, you'd lose the contents of the chest? Is that why I was suspicious?
I don't think that was in Glorious. I feel like there's another game where something like that happens, but I don't think that was in Glorious.
It feels like an RPG thing to do, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we let him out, and as thanks, he gives us his IRL Glorious keycard, kind of under the assumption it's like, well, if this place looks like the Glorious, then you can probably use my ID card, the same as if it was the Glorious.
Yeah.
And it's the most intelligent thing that Gilbert has ever said, because he is correct.
Yeah. And then he goes, and that's not my problem. I bid you all farewell, which is a great exit. I wish this is me every day when I leave work. It's not my problem. Farewell.
I will never see you again, Colonel.
Yeah. And Estelle goes, I feel like my brain just switched itself off to avoid having to process what just happened.
Don't blame her.
No, Joshua is feeling bummed about this. Something about what Gilbert just said has him stressed about his angst again.
Yeah.
I think it's got him thinking about who's waiting at the end again.
Oh, yeah, true. So with his glorious ID card in hand, we're able to delve further into the Black Ark, making our way to the hangar, where all the airships would be, to encounter our first sort of sub-Guardian fight. Mm-hmm. Not who I expected to see here, actually, but it's Kyle and Don Capua.
I knew who it would be, so I went and I got Josette. I fished her out of retirement.
Hell yeah.
And I was really glad I did.
Nice.
Because after what a bad space she's been in all chapter, it felt like there was a little character arc going on here, that a missable one with her. So did you get Josette, or?
No. I still had Ren, Estelle, and Joshua at this point.
So yeah, I popped Josette, I think, instead of Estelle. Because I didn't want to lose Ren in combat.
Fair.
So yeah, Josette sees them and she goes, oh, and she runs forward. She's like, what are you two doing here? And, everyone else is like, even you guys are being used by this place, huh? Don and Kyle are like, this is kind of above our, like, pay grades to understand.
Yeah.
But, we know what we have to do. We have our mission. We're not going to think too hard about it. And Josette's really distressed that they're going to fight. She's like, you can't tell me you want to fight. Like, I don't want to have to fight you. You're my family. And Kyle's like, if I was the real Kyle, I would be able to hold back against you. The fact that I can't is proof that I'm not really him, which is fucking horrifying. I can tell that I am not my real self because I can't not hurt my sister, or I can't not try to hurt her.
Woof.
And it's fucked up. They talk about the fact that, Josette's the one who handles all of our accounts, so, we need to get her back.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're saying it in a way of, like, to pump her up. Them talking about how much they rely on her and how important she is and how you gotta fight us so that you can get out of this place gets her kind of pumped up.
Yeah.
But then they summon all of the other Capua bandits to be to be spawns for the battle.
Yeah, they did not last long. I barely remember that they summoned anyone else, because the first thing I did in this fight was use Ren's Patamata S-Craft and just blast the entire battlefield, so there was only ever Don and Kyle as far as I'm concerned. I
had Josette summon the Bobcat because I thought it would be really funny to have her use the Bobcat against her brothers, who are theoretically the pilots of the Bobcat in this situation, in this S-Craft.
Nice.
And I also did Joshua's Phantom Braid because, let's be honest, Josette's not a great unit in this game. The Bobcat did not do that much damage.
No.
They basically are just like, we're just the warm-up act here, remember? So, keep your wits about you. But then after they fade away, we get an update. They say something like, we can still stick around a little bit for a while longer to help.
Yeah.
And Josette's Bobcat S-Craft gets powered up.
Yes, so now it shoots missiles and a machine gun, which is great. I still got that little scene with them saying they're going to stick around even without Josette in the party.
Nice.
They're just like, we're going to leave here, but we're not going to be gone for good, so we'll do what we can to help.
Though again, disturbing implications about everyone else. Is everyone else just hanging in the ether here?
Apparently.
Josette looks off into space afterwards, looking sad at first, but then she rallies and she goes, they were just like them in every way, and seeing them has actually put me at ease, because if there's copies of them here, that means the real ones must be safe somewhere. They're not trapped in here somewhere.
I suppose.
She's kind of fired up. She's feeling good. And then I did go back and check on her in the Hermit's Garden, and she was way better. She was like, yeah, we're going to get out of here. It's going to be good.
Nice.
And I really liked that little mini character arc that, it's just optional dialogue and then bring her along for an optional boss fight, which isn't advertised, which is the problem. There's no forecasting that, you should bring her along because they're going to show up. But it was a nice little arc that she was getting more and more distressed and depressed over the course of the chapter. And then she got to see her family again and rallied and feel better.
I feel like this is one of the boss fights that's the least signposted for you to even think of moving the party. Literally the only change it would take is just, as you're entering the hangar space, around where the monument is that you can heal and stuff, just put an inaccessible Bobcat parked in the hangar.
Yeah.
And have someone react to be like, is that the Bobcat?
Yeah.
What's it doing here? We already saw it back in blah, blah, blah.
That's really clever. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because there's no real, the only connection between them and this place is they helped Joshua get onto the Glorious when he broke on.
Yeah.
They didn't even come on itself. They just, flew close to him.
It would give you just that little thing.
The other connection is that they were working for / manipulated by Louvet, and we know who we're going to fight in this place. Who the Short Sworder looks like, but that's a really, really, that's a reach.
Yeah, it just needs something to kind of connect it through, because at this point, you're on your final of the 4 monuments. You know that there's all these meetups you could be having, because even by accident you'd be having some. Mm-hmm. And so just putting it, not even accessible, just parked at a spot you can't access on the gangways, just oh look, it's the Bobcat. That's weird.
No, that's a really smart way that would be a really smart way to do it.
And hey, put me on the design team for Sky the Third Remake. Yeah. I'm available. But yeah, we beat up the Capuas. They fade away to go hang out in the S-Craft waiting room or whatever.
Spurgatory. But then now we can go up to the forecastle. The magical gates disappeared. The forecastle is fairly straightforward. I mean, it's a lot of like side thing, go through all the doors to like get chests, but
Yeah.
it's not as many places you could veer off. I did have one chest I want to shout out.
Mm-hmm.
There is one thing I want to know at this time. Is Olivier being an idiot again?
Yeah.
Mueller is a chest, apparently.
Yeah, this is alternate Mueller from a chess dimension. I think the Gary was here, Ash is a loser. That Pokemon one is the only one that I spotted in the forecastle. Other than just, following a map to go specifically to the rooms that had chests and avoid all of the back and forth outside of that. Because it's a big dungeon, it's just quite empty at this point.
And then we find a Sundor 5.
Yes.
Which asks for, the way it phrases it is really weird.
Yeah, it's like, I want all the colors of Sepith was kind of the type of message.
All the mystical gems that contain light. What it means is you need to have in your inventory one of each of the, like, high-level gems, quartz, that are called, like, the topaz gem, the ruby, the whatever. Like, you need to have one of each of the ones you can get.
Okay.
Not the ones, like, there are fancy gems with special names that you can get from some doors. It's not those. It's, like, the ones that are, like, the top-level quartz.
Is it all of the special named ones or specifically one per color? Because I know like you've got the wood gem and the emerald gem.
I think one of each. So there's two of, like, some of the colors have two, some of them only have one, but I think you need to have one of each. But at this point I did, so it was fine.
Yeah, I think I've got enough at this point because they're handing them out pretty hard.
Yeah, they're handing them out a lot, and they only cost 1,000 quartz. 1,000 Sepith, and only 1,000 Sepith would have sounded crazy at the beginning of this game, but now we have a lot of Sepith. Monsters are dropping a lot more Sepith with this chapter.
Oh, they're heavy with the stuff. Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm just like, anytime I cycle someone into my party, I'm just upgrading all of their slots to level 3 by default. Like for a while, I was just doing it based on what they needed to equip, based on the guide I was using.
Yeah.
But at this point, like, I've got enough to spare that it's just like, just make life easier. Going back and forth between those two menus is so annoying.
Yeah. Another chest I'll call out, just for my sake. The dust in this chest is centuries old. You feel a very historical sneeze coming on. As Matt knows, I sneeze all the fucking time.
It's true.
And I have a dust allergy, so this did feel like a call out, but that's what I have to report on. And that's really all I have to say for the rest of this section. Do you have any other comments?
Nope, not really. Well, we make our way to the
sanctuary.
Atop of the forecastle, the sanctuary.
This is where last game Weissman was playing the organ like Ganondorf.
Yes. But now, instead, we are confronted by a trio of people. An enforcer trio. It's everyone. It's Blue Blanc, Walter, and Luciola.
A trio of Kingdom Hearts villains, from what I understand of Kingdom Hearts.
They sure look it, yeah.
And, I'm sorry, did we not shout this out on the pod when it happened that you were on, over on Simple and Clean, that you did an episode? Did we link that?
We sure didn't. Hey, it's Matt from the Editing Bay. In the original recording, I'm about to very confidently say that we've already brought this up on the podcast, but we have not. So, a little while ago, I was a guest on another wonderful gaming recap podcast, Simple and Clean, a Kingdom Hearts podcast, which is hosted by two very, very lovely hosts, Mayana Barron and Misha Stanton. Mayana's work you may know from the wonderful video game Dispatch, which she contributed to as a writer and the voice of Coop, and also on the actual play podcast, The Wandering Path. And Misha, you will find their name on pretty much every wonderfully produced audio production podcast that you've ever listened to. So I joined them for a special episode to talk about JRPGs, what they are, how they do, what they're made of, what the ingredients are, and whether or not Kingdom Hearts itself counts for that. So we cover a whole bunch of different games. It's a wonderful episode. I had a fantastic time. So go check out Simple and Clean. That episode specifically, but also the entire podcast, because it's a wonderful romp through the entire Kingdom Hearts oeuvre. They sort of bounce around to all the fun things that Kingdom Hearts has done. So go check it out. Anyway, I will take you back to the past where we recorded and skip over the part where I very incorrectly said, I already told you about this, so now you know. Love you, bye.
But yeah, and we've got Blue Blanc, we've got Luciola, we've got Walter. And I, at this point, have switched my party around. I put... I wanted Ren in the party, of course. And then I knew who was coming, so I wanted either Shara or Agate, but I couldn't have both. I went with Shara because Shara has been drinking more and more all chapter and saying really distressed things about Luciola. So I thought, maybe I'll give her some peace if she can encounter a version of Luciola here. Maybe that'll be good for her. You still have the Brights and Ren?
I still had the same party because I figured, Ren seemed like the right fit for anyone
Yeah.
society-ish who would
Of
come
course.
along. Joshua, because the Glorious was a big part of his storyline.
Well, and he's mandatory.
And he's mandatory. And Estelle, because she's kind of like the bridge between the two of them. She's there to support Joshua, was kind of how I thought of it.
I wanted to have all these people in, but I was like, I also, a big part of my thought process was I actually checked the guide of like, you've looked at like the suggested party members, and I went with something different because I know you've been following it, and I was like, it'll be fun if we have different dialogue. So let's make sure that I try to have a different party comp for each boss.
Yeah, I've been mostly sticking to the guide, but I did trade like the bright kids in for the Cassius fight, specifically beyond the mandates of the guide, because I wanted to see what had happened. But also I didn't bother really setting them up properly with chords. I just kind of went through and just stuck a bunch of stuff in there, and it still worked out because a lot of those gems were then, the onyx, the gold gem, the ones that are just like super duper.
Yeah.
So as long as I could see them showing up with heal spells and stuff, I was like, yeah, good enough.
Good going.
It's nice to throw them in and have enough options of stuff to just, from the leftovers I had from my main party assignment, still be able to build like another rig, basically.
Very nice. No, I overthought all my quartz, because I'm an overthinker. But right now we got our buddies from the society.
And thank God in this fight, Luciola doesn't have her two ghost friends that I could never remember which was which.
Thank God. Fucking hate them.
They're all still pretty meaty folks. Did you target anyone in particular to take down first?
I got Blue Blonde, but first I had a little dialogue to cover.
Oh, yeah.
Just that Lucy, because Shara's there, Luciola goes, and here I thought we would never meet again. I see fate had other ideas, although I can't say I'm unhappy about that, which Shara is touched by. It doesn't have much to say yet in response to, but it means something to Shara. And Ren is excited to fight. But then they say some interesting stuff to Kevin before the fight.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kevin's like, can you guys go easy on us? And Walter goes, you of all people don't get to ask us that. Your game was up a long time ago, con man. Mm-hmm. And Kevin goes ... And Blue Blah chimes in saying that he's heard about the Heretic Hunter before, but it seems that they were downplayed after he heard that Kevin had the strength to slay the Faceless alone.
Which, at this point, I really wish that I'd had Reese in my party, because we know that she's not aware of how that mission shook out, and I was like, damn, I wish she was there.
Oh, no, I think Reese knows, but it's that she didn't know that he didn't tell everyone else. That was my reading of that scene. That she knew because she's seen the report. She's like, he made all these friends and they knew about his mission and supported him, and then found out that he kept it all secret. Luciola is like, you did a flawless job of deceiving us. And the Blue Blanc chimes in there with, but it's time for us to repay our debts for deceiving us. Did they mention that yeah, they did learn that Weissman died.
Yes. From memory, the conversation went out like Reese was about to drop the bomb and Kevin cuts her off.
Yeah.
Because she was acting under the assumption they already knew and she was just discussing it. And he's like, let's not.
I think Joshua, we've confirmed that he's at least got a feeling.
Joshua figured it out because he had that meeting with him on the long bridge in the garden and said like, hey, like, you and I are the same, etc.
But did the rest of the party find out at any point?
I don't think they've found out yet, no.
No. So this is kind of, they dropped the bomb. Though it doesn't seem like Ren probably knows because she's Ren. And I guess the other party members don't put it together.
Yeah, but I had Estelle and she didn't react at all.
No, and Cher didn't either, though Cher might be distracted by Lucy. But I guess Estelle could just go over her head because they don't say... Because blah blah takes a long time, uses a lot of words and like circular sentence structures to get to the point. It might not resonate with Estelle. But then Kevin kind of does his thing where he's like, well, I'm going to play the bad guy then. And he's like, well, there wasn't any point holding back against you freaks. Anyway, I hereby acknowledge you as heretics. You get your wish. And Blue Blah's very excited about this. And he's like, oh, you're just every bit the monster I hoped you'd be, just like us. Kevin's going for this response. Yeah. Like, there is a certain self-punishment element, I think, to the way Kevin will sometimes present himself to be reacted to in a certain way. Wants to be seen as bad.
He's putting on the character, for sure.
Though I think it's more of a self-punishment thing for him, for whatever reason. And then Joshua's like, his dramatic, I won't lose, or whatever, and we fight. Yeah,
and it's a long fight.
I did Blue Blanc first.
I took out Luciola, because, like, her description's all about illusions. It's like, I don't want her to summon in those ghost friends or anything.
Yeah.
So I knocked her off, then Blue Blanc, then Walter. Luckily, Walter was slow enough, and I was, like, stacking, like, guards enough that he didn't really get much of a chance. Though, this fight was weird, because Blue Blanc kept using the...
Shrinking?
Make them fat status effect.
Oh no, he kept using the shrink them tiny for me.
For me, it was the opposite. Like, It was the Be Fat one where they just stretched the sprites wider. From what I understand, the effect of it is it first of all, kind of awkward. It lowers your movement rate, so you can't walk as far. But it does seem like the knockback effect from your physical attacks is twice as powerful. Because I was really like shuttling Blue Blanc around because he got Josh and Estelle at one point, and I was basically just like playing a game of badminton where he was the shuttlecock.
That's so fat phobic. Wow.
It's wild, yeah. It's not good.
It's not good, but wow. Okay, no, I just kept getting shrunk and then using Kevin's S-Craft with ailment healing to heal it.
I tried to rationalize it, but it's like, you know what? He used the effect on Estelle, and it's like, oh, you're going to give me a badonkadonk? Well, I'm going to use it against you, and just hip checks him across the battlefield.
I do see Estelle doing that and enjoy that. It's like that gif of Estelle from the anime, just like checking people off of the staircase, which is the staircase on the Glorious. Like, it's that same. That was my first thought when we walked down the stairs of the Glorious. I was like, hey, it's Estelle's badonking place.
Yeah, just Estelle, fists up in the air, running across the battlefield, going, "My hips are no longer small and humble.
Hips don't lie."
But they do injure. So yeah, after a bit of fighting, I took down all 3 of the enforcers, none of whom were as hard as they were the first time, I don't think. Mm-hmm. And they started fading out, as cloned people are wont to do.
Because they say a few things like, oh, you've got, Shora's order to fight next. And then Shora goes, Lucy, and trails off. And then she asks if the fact that Lucy is here as a copy means that Lucy, the real Lucy, is alive.
Oh.
And Luciola goes, I'm afraid I can't answer that, dear. I don't know. I'm not the real her. I have no way of knowing whether the real Luciola is alive or dead.
Ooh, but nothing about where she remembers up to or anything like that? Because we got like timestamps on a lot of these folks based on what they know.
I assume this has to mean that she doesn't remember anything after the Oriole, because if she remembered anything after her death drop, then she would know that she has survived it.
Exactly, yeah. I do start to wonder, like, we're getting ideas of, like, Sid, like, I remember everything up until when we met at the start of the game. So I wonder if they are actually clones of, like, snapshots of these people in time, or just snapshots of people's memories of them.
Yeah, that could be.
Because for Sid, like, Kevin saw him most recently at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So if everyone's kind of perception of Luciola and memory of his, as far as we know, she died.
That makes a lot of sense.
But now she's back because, like, trio, the energy.
His enforcers.
Logic's like, yeah, you guys don't know what happened to me, so I don't know what happened to me.
That makes a lot of sense. The other thing is, it's possible that Lucille is lying, and she does know.
Also that, yeah.
Either she knows I'm dead. She's like, either I know I'm dead, and I want to give Shora, I don't want to lie to her, but I also want to basically encourage her to, like, go see the world for herself, and maybe she'll find out. Or Lucille is alive.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to just outright say that to Shora. She wants Shora, like, because where it goes from here is she goes, the answer is surely out there, however. You'll just have to find it yourself once you return to your own world. And that seems to rally Shora a bit. It gives her kind of a purpose.
Okay.
It seems like Shara's been really fucked up for the last little while, and drinking even more than usual, and thinking about this a lot, and then trying to distract herself from thinking about it, and all that. And it sounds like Lucy's kind of giving a pep talk. You need to, like, get yourself excited to go out into the world and discover it, an adventure, and you'll maybe find an answer out there. So you could read that as
interesting.
But then she also says, before I go, I want to tell you your new look really suits you.
Oh, nice.
And Cher's really happy with this. That means a lot.
Oh, that's cute.
Ren goes, do you really have to go? And it's heartbreaking.
Oh.
Bliblaw says, it pains me to say this, but we must. And I actually believe him. Like, I know he speaks dramatically, but the way he talks to Ren sounds a lot more sincere than the way he usually talks. Like, he clearly cares about this kid. And he's like, what about you? Do you know if you're going to return to Ouroboros yet? And basically all 3 enforcers, in kind of a shocking twist from what you'd expect, are like, whatever you decide, it's okay. Take your time and figure out what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
If you decide to be against us, we'll be excited to get to fight you. If you decide to come back, we'll be excited to... Walter's like, I'll train you if you come back. I'll teach you some of my moves, but I'll also be happy to face you across the battlefield if you decide that. Like, we're enforcers. Yeah. The Anguis can't tell us what to do as enforcers. We have free will, and you need to use your free will and decide what you want to do.
And I feel like it lends credence to the idea that this is just her perception of them. Like, this is basically her subconscious communicating through these like figures that she respects, idolizes, like cares about. So she knows what she needs to do is just like sit and be with her thoughts and decide what she wants to do with her life. So it's entirely reasonable that the other enforcers would be like, why would you leave? Like, this job kicks ass. Don't leave. But they're just like, no, you need to think about it and you need to decide.
That makes sense. That's interesting to think about. I've always assumed that was actually pretty accurate as to what they would say. We got the impression a bit from Luve before last game. We got the impression from Ren that not everyone on the society is totally, like, they're all aware that this is a kid.
Yeah, they all have, like, a soft spot for her.
They have a soft spot for her, and there's this idea that, like, unlike Weissman, they're clearly, like, free will kind of matters to a lot of these people. Not everyone in the society, clearly, but at least enough of them, that there's an understanding that, like, you only have so much free will as a child to make a decision that impacts the rest of your life. And they're also, like, Ren's the only one who's ever actually been angry at Joshua for leaving the society. Like, everyone else has been like, yeah, you get to go off and decide what you do with your life. So it does kind of track that they're like, yeah, if you decide that this is what you want to do with your life, we'll be on opposite sides. But as a person, I support you, right, to go and figure that out. But yes, they fade away, and a warp thing appears on the floor underneath them.
Yes. Before we step through it, though, I didn't do a full garden whip around at this point. But I did go check in with Shara, at least, and her approach is a little bit different based on not being in the scene.
I see.
Similar to how Agate has a response to missing out on the boss fight with Cassius.
Yeah.
I went up and talked to Shara, and she's like, hey, I know what you're going to say. You guys saw Luciola. It's fine. If I'd been that worried about her and really wanted to know what happened to her, I would have spent the last year following after her, but I didn't. And she just seems kind of chill.
I got the impression that she didn't spend the last year following after her because she was scared of what she'd find.
Yeah.
She says, for me, she goes, so now even Lucy's been recreated here. Running into her again should have been more strange than it actually was, but then again, she's always been right here with me in my heart. And then she goes, I have no intention of trying to find Lucy. Right now I'm a bracer, and that comes first.
Okay.
And if it's fate that we'll meet again, then we will. Kind of a nice, her idea is that all this time she's been thinking about Lucy and not looking for answers, but wanting to, and like she's been kind of foot in two doors, and now she's like, no, like what I am is a bracer. My job is to put that first. My priority is that.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties in with her Moondor, or her Star Door earlier. Moondor, earlier a bit too. This idea that she's like, being a bracer is the choice I've made for my future. I'm not going to go chasing ghosts of my past.
Yeah.
Jin also comments on the fact that we saw Walter.
Oh, yeah.
I did look this up because I'm relentless, what kind of dialogue he gets with Walter. And basically, before the battle, it's just kind of like, yeah, I want to fight you again. But then afterwards, Jin tells Walter that Killica's gone off to Calver to join the agency.
Oh.
And Walter's like, yeah, I already heard. But, you gotta tell her, stop working so hard. You're gonna get too old to be a bride soon.
Oh, my God.
And Jin's like, sure, I'll tell her and take a hit for you.
I do like the idea that is just Walter setting Jin up to get hit.
To get hit? Like, yeah.
It's just funny to watch you get punched.
Yeah. Gisette's all fired up after seeing her brothers that she's gonna get out of here. And then I did something. I changed my party composition and I took Ren out. You kept Ren in, right?
I kept her in, yeah.
And that's why I took her out, because I knew there's different dialogue with Estelle depending on whether Ren is there or not.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so I was like, we should get both sides of this. Ren was not happy with me afterwards, and I felt really bad. But I took Ren out. Mm-hmm. So I put Tita in, because I thought I'll instead put Ren's bestie in.
I stuck with Joshua, Estelle, and Ren
makes sense.
This final boss fight as well, because it seemed like the best combo.
I wanted to so bad, but then I was like, know what? I'm doing this for the listener. I missed out on the catharsis. Matt's gonna have to tell me the catharsis of what happens with Ren and Luve, because I missed it. I think I played it last time, but I forgot.
I pretty much looked at it as like, again, we know who the boss fight's going to be, and it's like, who is going to be the best who's going to have the best reactions, and it felt like they were the best ones, and they lined up with my quartz guide, so
makes sense.
Maybe they had the same thought. We circle back to the end of the Black Ark, where we have to go through that teleporter that takes us to a new area previously unseen, the Farewell Arena, which is basically just a big obsidian staircase leading up into a combat area in the sky.
It's the longest fucking staircase. It goes on so long.
2 screens.
It's 2 screens. It's a long time. Joshua comments at the bottom that he senses someone powerful waiting at the top.
Yeah.
And I think at this point is when there's a little conversation. Joshua kind of addresses with everyone else that, like, they all know who it is that's waiting there.
I think so, yeah. I didn't get any screenshots of that bottom of the stairs conversation, but it's like, okay, so we're all on the same page here, pretty much.
Oh no, this comes up. Actually, this is in the pre-boss fight battle talk. Schwarzwälder says from off screen, "Welcome, orphan of a lost village," just because he really liked that turn of phrase.
We enter the arena to find Schwarzwälder standing there with his sword and his crab claws and his big mask.
Yep.
Everyone's, showboating as we do before a boss fight, but Joshua has a question before we really get into it. Listen, before we start fighting, I have to ask, why hide your face? And Schwarzwälder goes on the defensive. He's like, oh, well, I'm here for the Lord of Phantasma, and his will is what happens, so it's his will. Joshua says, no, I call bullshit. Really, actually, why are you wearing the mask? Because you're doing the Lord's bidding, sure, but the Lord doesn't give a shit about your mask.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? He's like, well, I think you know why. And Schwarzwälder says, like, anyone in the party want to, like, say it out loud? Who wants to say it?
And what happens for me is Estelle goes, Joshua, ... And Tita goes, Joshua, ... And Kevin's like, Joshua, ... And Joshua's like, you all knew, huh? Like, Joshua's been in denial. Everyone else knew and just hasn't said anything to him.
I think I get a Joshua from Estelle and a Joshua from Kevin and a ... from Ren. Mm-hmm. Because she's sort of holding judgment. Josh gets to have a cool line, though.
Yeah.
We can say it up front, but why bother? I'll just smash that mask off your stupid face instead, and then we'll know. And everyone's immediately on board. It's like, fuck yeah, let's beat the shit out of this guy.
Meanwhile, Schwartz was like, you all seem to have worked something out, but I have no idea what it could be. It's like, sure, buddy.
Tee-hee-hee. Yeah. Then he summons in his giant bug dragon that I forgot about for a while.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, this thing, that's right. But my cast all remembers his name, the dragon's name.
It's Dragion.
Yeah.
It's the Black Dragion.
It's an easy name, too, which is more embarrassing. There are a few lines from Joshua suggesting that he's been unable to face reality and face the truth, but now he's not saying it because he's like, I have to defeat you anyway to move forward. I'm no longer denying the truth. I'm just we're gonna do it as a dramatic reveal because that's more fun.
Yeah. With the Black Dragon summoned in, we get to fight both of them, and it's a fairly tough boss battle.
It was fairly tough. Not as bad as Cassius, but definitely fairly tough. No. Especially, I didn't have a good arts caster, really. Like, I had Kevin, but Kevin's more hybrid. Yeah. And I didn't have Renan. I had Tita in her Erbe gear, though, which didn't work at first. Like, it took a while before it would actually let me use it. It was it was a slog. Like, it took a long time.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's why I had checked in with only Shara, because before this boss fight, for one of the very few times I've actually done it, I went back and, like, charged up my CP at the fountain.
Yes, I did that.
I usually don't, just so I'd make sure I'd have 200 CP on everyone so that I could,
Oh, I do that all the time.
Drop Holy Grail, and then charge up a Spear of Loa quickly. Joshua has his, like, all or targeted attacks, which are great. Estelle only has targeted, but that just meant that I was able to take down the Black Dragon first and easily.
And it's a self-healing, too, which is nice.
And it's self-healing. It was doing, like, 2,500 healing per strike at this point for me, which is very generous.
Yeah.
Even though, without me even noticing, we're up to, like, 18,000 health on our party members, which feels insane. And yeah, then Ren has the big blast from Patamata now, which meant that no matter where they went on the battlefield, I could hit both of them at any time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I focused on taking the Dragon down first.
Same.
Just because he was lower health and it's easy to eliminate him.
And he's not the main feature boss, and usually you want to kill the main feature boss second.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schwarzwälder, it was a fine boss. It was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna quite live up to Cassius at this point, you know? Cassius really stands out, and everything kind of pales in comparison in terms of boss battles this chapter. And then I beat him.
Me too. It turns out Joshua doesn't even get the chance to knock the mask off his face because he just gets his crab claws and smushes it himself. I love that when we get this reveal, you get the big dramatic thing, and then we have the portrait reveal of the art as he confirms his identity. This is, like, way more Bishonen Louvet.
Oh, yeah. Well, they gave him... He's not Dollar Store Sephiroth anymore. He's got the long Sephiroth hair now.
It's long, it's silky. He's got, like, softer facial features now as well. They've kind of, like softened his image a little.
Have they? Or is it just the long hair makes it look that way? I'm bad visually. Like, I can't tell.
I truly thought he looked more like Bishy in this one.
Then maybe he does, yeah.
He's been supported by the Lord of Phantasma and Pantene Pro V.
Mm-hmm. And Josh was like, it really is you. And then the name switches to Louvet, and it's a very sweet, emotional scene. Mm-hmm. And Louvet is he's dropped the act completely. He's like, I never thought I'd be so lucky to see you again.
Yeah.
But Josh was like, I've been in denial because I knew that meeting you again meant I'd have to say goodbye to you again. I was going to lose you again. And I couldn't face the fact that I was going to get you back and then lose you.
And we get Josh's big brain reveal, which is like, the reason you are masked is because I didn't want to know who you are. Mm-hmm. And my will is being exerted on your appearance as a shadow of a person in this world anyway. So you are masked because I wasn't ready to confront and deal with losing you a second time.
Which is really interesting.
Which is sick. I love that.
But also raises questions about the Lord of Phantasma's also masked.
Yeah, I was just like, if we all sat down before the final boss fight of the game and thought really, really hard about how the Lord of Phantasma has always this entire time been wearing giant clown shoes, would that happen? Could we just be like, I am the Lord, honka, 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 prepare for destruction? They should be weaponizing this shit immediately. So if not on each other, then at least on the bad guys.
This is how you know that Ren has not fully gone over to their side, because Ren would have thought of this and told everyone this if she was 100% committed to the good fight. This is how we know she's not all there.
Oh yeah, and you just know there'd be all kind of awkward things, like suddenly Josette is walking around with a set of honka-donkers the size of sharers because she's got envy.
I almost spat out my beer mat. I was like, I'm either going to spit it out or like drool it out. I can't believe I got that down. Oh my God. I'm
sorry, was it when I said honka-donkers? Was that what did it?
Yeah. Well, when this Josette, because at first I thought this was going to be like Estelle willing something bad on Josette because they're always fighting. And then I realized Josette was willing herself the honka-donkas. That just got me. I just wasn't expecting it.
I just can't wait for Clown Shoes Lord of Phantasma. That's going to be a great reveal.
So excited. There's also an interesting interpretation is that because Luffy's personality switches so fast, and obviously part of it is, right, like he's been tasked with this by the Lord of Phantasma, being Schwarz veteran, doing this whole like thing in grandiose show. So part of it was that. Yeah. But it also makes you wonder, like, was part of the reason he has been pretending not to be Luffy this whole time because Joshua wasn't ready to face it, and so this was his way of showing grace to his little brother by not making him face it before he was ready.
It's kind of similar to, who was it, the Capuas, who like, after the battle they're just like, oh God, thank God that's done, I can just disappear. Oh yeah. No, Morgan.
Oh yeah.
Just like kind of being released from the role means that they can default back to their true selves more genuinely or something.
Yeah.
And like the mask is a very clear, like, direct representation of that as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we get a little bit of wrap up after this fight. I did like that for my party, Luve also acknowledges Estelle. It says, like, you've gotten a lot stronger as well. It's good job. And then for me, he turns to Ren. His first thing he says is like, I want to apologize that I never got to say goodbye to you the first time when I actually died. Mm-hmm. I never meant for things to happen that way. I would never have left without saying goodbye to you if I had any choice in the matter. Mm-hmm. So more of that soft spot for Ren.
And then I got, instead of that, after he says the same thing to Estelle about, you've gotten stronger and all that, he goes, let me take this chance to thank you for all you've done for Ren, too. Oh. I have to admit, I was a little concerned about how she would fare without me, but I see I had no reason to worry on that front. And Estelle goes, oh.
Yeah.
And Luffy goes, I can't imagine achieving what you want to will be an easy task. But I have faith that as long as the two of you put your mind to it, you can do it and get through to her.
For my part, when he apologizes to Ren, like, I wouldn't have died without saying goodbye to you. Like, I would never do that to you.
Yeah.
She's like, that's okay. I forgive you. I don't hold it against you. I'm just happy that I got to see you one more time.
That's sweet. And then he says something to Tita, actually.
Oh.
I put her in because she was Ren's friend, and I thought if Ren came up, she might have something to say, but instead, he just kind of was like, Tita, I'm pleased to see you found a path of your own, too. I'm trying to remember when they've interacted before, really.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, when she jumped in front of him trying to kill Agate. That's why. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
You found a path of your own, and he says, I'm looking forward to seeing how well you can compare to the 13 factories with your orbital gear.
Oh, nice.
And Tita's like, thank you, I appreciate that, but I do feel like my reasons for working on the orbital gear are kind of selfish. And Luffy's like, deep down, everyone is selfish to at least some degree. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Just follow your heart and do what you believe in.
Yeah, I wonder what else he would have to say to other party members that have less of a direct connection.
I know he says something to Agate.
They fought, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe something about Luciola for Shara, something about Walter for Jin.
Oh, and he has something unique with Richard. That's the other one.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because of the Lieutenant Lawrence thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, after that, the line that we both would have gotten as he starts to fade away is from Joshua, who says, "Oh, just to let you know, your sword is resting with Karen. Like, I delivered it to her."
Wait, before that, we had, he's like, so Kevin, how your theory, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
You feel like you've confirmed it now? And Kevin's like, yeah, my theory is correct. I know who the Lord of Phantasma is.
I'm not going to say it this chapter, but I know.
But then, yes, we get, I delivered your sword to Karen.
Yeah. And the best little moment, like, blink and you'll miss it. He thanks him for delivering the sword and is like, I can go be at peace now. And as he begins to fade away, someone else fades in right behind him for a split second.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, that's lovely.
Just before he vanishes, you see a female figure with dark hair appear behind him with some sort of red ribbon in her hair.
Oh, that's lovely.
And he's just like behind his left shoulder, and then they fade away together.
Oh, wait, I can kind of see that in one of these screenshots.
It was so quick. Because I don't know that we've actually had a sprite of Karen before.
No, we haven't.
We've only ever seen her in flashback images. I recognized based on the black hair and probably yellow eyes, but she was semi-transparent, so it was hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, she like fades in to like take Louvet away to the afterlife together so they can be happy.
I love that. I think it's really interesting that they never talk about Louvet here as being a copy or like a fake in the way that they do with everyone else.
Mm.
And I don't know if there's an implication that because he is definitely dead, that his spirit has really been pulled out of the afterlife or something here.
They do highlight that he's like the final guardian to face, but the first that was summoned. So maybe there's something unique about him in that way. Because he doesn't have any of that, like, I wonder if my real self will remember this type dialogue, kind of like separating himself from the real.
And on the one hand, of course, his real self is dead. So there's less talk about like if he'd remember it. He doesn't say like the real Louvet would be so proud of you or something like that, right? Like there's no drawing a distinction there.
Yeah.
Josh was sad afterwards, but he goes, no, I'm fine. It was always going to end this way. And the last time I lost him, I acted like a child who couldn't let go, and I just made him worry in his final moments. But this time I was able to be an adult and say goodbye the way that I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then he says, I've done everything I need to now. I leave the rest with you, Kevin.
He fades away, as does the barrier over the Erbe Royal Villa entrance, which instead fills with mist.
Yep.
And then when we retreat back to the sanctuary, down the very, very, very long side of stairs.
Because you can't teleport away. You can't fast travel out.
As we go through the teleporter, it vanishes from the sanctuary and is replaced with a star door.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, why did that happen? And Joshua, Big Brain Joshua, is like, but you see, the star door was here first, and the teleporter appeared in its place, so now it's just returning to where it was. And everyone says, brilliant, Joshua does it again.
They're like, oh, like, that makes sense. How does it make any more sense than the other alternate? Like, how does it...
Literally.
Anyway, so this is door 14.
Yes, which is see every other door.
Yes. Now, for context for listeners, this does include all the sun doors. However, this does not mean every level of every sun door. I believe you just need the first level of every sun door.
Cool. So you don't have to have platinumed the fucking mini games.
Nope.
You just have to have been tortured by them at least once.
Yeah. But we haven't gotten access to door 15 yet, so no one can access this at this point.
So we will come back to this. In the meantime, we have a new pathway open in fake Erbe Scenic route.
I went to Hermit's Garden again. There are some updates.
Cool. Do we want to really smash through it because we're at 3.5 hours already?
Really quick, yeah. Joshua goes to Olivier and thanks him again for the fact that Hamel wasn't sealed off when he was able to go.
Oh, nice.
And he says, I know that this is because of you, and I know that this actually would not have been easy for you as the prince because the royal family having anything to do with Hamel is really testy.
Nice.
At first he plays it off. He's like, oh, you can thank me with your love or something. And Josh was like, yeah, no. Like, fuck off. Stop deflecting.
Yeah.
You did a big thing, and I'm grateful. And Olivia's like, I wanted to go lay flowers, but I couldn't. There would be 100 scandals if I went anywhere near it.
Yeah.
I did what I could. And then I talked to Ren. It was sad. A little bit. Because Ren did not get to see Louvet.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just looking off into the space. She's on that elevated platform that Richard was on earlier going, oh, good evening. It's a lovely night, isn't it? It's a shame we can't see the moon from here, but the stars are pretty enough to make up for that. She just goes, don't say anything, Joshua. And Joshua goes, okay. You know, I have an idea. Let's go play hide and seek on the Black Glorias. Won't that be fun? But there's a very clear, like, she's upset and she's deflecting. And I was like, way to make me feel horrifically guilty for not bringing her.
Oh.
Like, wow, it's bad. Mueller tells Olivia to be careful if you put him in the party. Gisette worries about Joshua because everybody knows that he saw Louvet.
Yeah.
So does Chloe. She's worried about that too. Jin is trying to philosophize about the Oriole and why would anyone who has power over something like Phantasma and the Oriole and to grant wishes do this? And he's like, this is too much heavy thinking. It's really hurting my brain. And then Annalise and Tita are with Reese, and Tita is telling them the story of Louvet and Joshua and what the whole background is.
Oh.
Annalise is kind of chiming in where she knows stuff, but Tita's the one conveying that and why this is so meaningful and why everyone else is around. And then Reese actually turns because I had Ren at my party, and Reese goes, Ren, it's a shame that you weren't able to say goodbye to Louvet. I'm really sorry.
Oh.
Ren is like, a shame? I didn't expect to hear something like that from you. And she's like, but maybe you could do a reading from the Testaments, right? From the Holy Book, which the implication being like this is like a funeral rite or something. And Reese is like, that's a good idea. I'll do that. So the idea is that they've now got an olive branch between Ren and Reese is going to do some funeral rites for Louvet for him to pass on in peace.
Oh, nice.
As a sister of the church. And that's something that Ren would also appreciate, which I thought was sweet. And then I went to Erbe Scenic route with Reese in the party.
Yes, me too. Because the guide told me to.
Yeah, I just knew I had to take her, and I was too lazy to go and be like, what happens if I don't? Will it send me back?
Oh, is there like are you blockaded or something?
I don't know. I remembered that I needed to have her.
Oh, okay. So I headed to the spot with Kevin, Reese, and still Estelle and Joshua.
Same here.
You step through the mist, headed towards the Erbe Royal Villa, but when you come out on the other side of the mist, it's not right. It's a different gate.
Oh.
And Joshua and Estelle were quite confused. It's like, wait, where is this? Joshua sings out like, hey, above the gate, that's the symbol of the church. Where are we?
And this gate looks a bit familiar to us because we've seen it in a CG.
Reese just sort of goes, Kevin, ...
Yep.
And Kevin turns around and confirms like, you're right, this isn't the Erbe Villa. Welcome to Astor House.
The place where Reese, Rufina, and I grew up together. End chapter.
End of chapter. That concludes chapter 6, The Guardians' Trials.
And next chapter we are playing chapter 7 all the way through. This is gonna be quite fast, actually. Like it's short.
Okay.
It's gonna be less than 2 hours, probably.
Well, hey.
Knowing us, we'll drag it out longer than it needs to be anyway. And there's lots of plot stuff, like revelations. Now, before we move on to chest messages, is your guess still the same for who the Lord of Phantasma is, or has it changed at all?
Who did I say last time? Ein?
Yes.
I feel like she's fallen off in the story, so I'm thinking more Rufina as kind of like the big character who we haven't really had a resolution on. So maybe her? Or a red herring is the other option.
Cool. I'm obviously not going to make any comment. I felt it would be fun to keep it up to the record.
Yeah, no, I think that is because all of these characters have been about gut punches, and who's the only gut punch left that Kevin would care that much about? I think Rufina probably. We will see. But before we sign off for the day, you know what it is. It's the TWG Community Chest. Why did I say it's duh? I need a rest. Every week we sing out the name of one of the fellow shows on the Worst Garbage Community Podcast Network thing, conglomerate.
It's 4 hours of recording, guys. Give us a break.
Please, my brain. We sing out one of them that you should go listen to because they're all cool shows. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the network. That's the requirement for being in. You got to be cool. So this week, we will direct you to .zip.
.zip.
Big games in small packages.
2 of the now 4 members, hosts of .zip, have actually been on this show before. Chase and AJ have been on.
Yep.
And they're also joined by Kim and Robin. And they play short games that have a lot packed into them. And it is always a blast to listen to. I've discovered so many good and interesting games from the show. Please go give it a listen. I've been on the show before. Why did I forget that? I've been on the show once too. So that was fun. If you like indie games, you're going to find so much goodness there.
Yeah. They got a new one every week. Nice short playtime. The absolute antithesis of our show. And that's why we're covering all ends of the spectrum on the West Garbage Network. So check out .zip for a breather from our bullshit, basically.
We have been recording longer than it takes them to play most of the games they play for .zip for this episode alone.
Yeah, I'm impressed my eyes are still pointing in the same direction, truly.
I don't know how this got so long. How is this an hour over our normal time?
I know, but I know how to get us out of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, thank you everybody for joining us this episode of, I almost said the worst garbage, that's not us, that's the network. We're Trails Through Trails. And you just listened to us finish Chapter 6 of Trails in the Sky, the third. That's the video game we just played. We played Stardust 10, 11, and 12. And next week, we're not going to play any Stardust because we're playing Chapter 7. If you would like to interact with us after we've had a nap...
It's midnight here.
You can find us You can find us at the website trailspod.online or the other website, the worst garbage.online or TWG.online.
Worst garbage.
It's the worst garbage.online. There you can find links to all of the shows and the Discord. You can also get a link to the Discord on our website now because I finally updated it. So you can get direct to the Discord from there as well. Come talk to us. We have our own channel. There are many other channels about many other games and many other subjects. You can talk about all of them. You can email us at trailsthroughtrails@gmail.com if you want to say, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you guys this week? The answer, a lot. But you can also contact us on socials at TrailsPod via Instagram, Twitter, not X, the everything app, fuck that, and Blue Sky.
We are there. We just don't like it.
We're there. We just refuse to call it. Oh, we're purposely dead naming a platform. Do we care about that? No, it's Elon Musk. Fuck that guy.
That's the only acceptable dead name. That is an agreed upon.
Okay.
There's a consensus. The only acceptable dead name is Twitter.
Phew. So get out there and dead name Twitter. You can also review us on your podcast platform of choice. Please do it. If you want to tell us how good we are or how much we need to rest more between these, or maybe just chill. But we won't because we've still got 12 more games, 13 more games to go. I don't know. Man.
I think it's like 10.
There's 69 more games. Haha, it's the funny sex number. Anyway, I've been Matt.
I think I'm still Lex, but I'm not even sure anymore.
The critics are undecided. But you can listen to us give this another try next episode of Trails Through Trails when we cover Chapter 7 and no doors because there aren't any to do.
I don't know why we just lost it so bad in the last 5 minutes.
Please, Kevin, end our misery. Please take us away. Please make it stop.
Is it over yet?
It's over!
It's a truck.
There she is.
She's purring.
Okay, go away now.
TWG, the worst garbage, the online.